Nisite Domine, I heard the bishop say the words of a man who writ so well, of the Word who came in humble human frame to ransom men from the pains of hell. Non nisite Domine, I heard the bishop say, was the good doctor's sole request of the Lamb who came to carry Adam's shame, spotless with no sins to confess. Non nisite Domine, I heard the bishop cry, the cry of all cold, thirsty, hungry souls, for the bread of days, for the water of life, for the warmth of the eternal fire's coals. Non nisite Domine, I heard the bishop cry, nothing but you, Lord, nothing but you, nothing but you, Lord Jesus Christ. Nothing but you, Lord, nothing but you, nothing but you, Lord Jesus Christ.
and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. Thank God for another beautiful day. Oh, it's getting hot these days. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful show. And Montgomery needs a new mayor. Maybe a few new city council members and like a whole big overhaul. But depends on if the people of the city want it. Anyway, welcome into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Back from vacation to Ohio. Like the Pretender song, you went back to Ohio. Troy Carrico back in the studio. Hey, Troy, how you doing?
And my city was still there, though. Mm-hmm. Okay, it wasn't gone. It was incredible. Talking about weather, 82, maybe 40% humidity, 58 at night. It's perfect sitting out there. It was great. I love it.
So there's so much we can get into, and you have an op-ed that's coming out at 1819 this afternoon that is inspired by that vacay.
I shared with you earlier before the show, I kind of had an epiphany, and sometimes we need to return to our roots to really appreciate what we are. So
here. Yeah, and then strangely, this sets me up for what I wrote and was thinking about over the weekend, and it's a bit of a dialogue based on a real conversation. Of course, we'll get to Trump and Iran and Israel striking Hezbollah and Beirut and yada, yada, yada. Some stuff on AI, some stuff on quantum computing, and some local Montgomery stories, 1819, doing some investigative stuff on some of the Montgomery bureaucracy and a particular city councilwoman. But first off, let's remind folks, and I'm wearing at least a semblance of one around my neck. A lot of folks are going to call this month a certain thing. So instead of trying to tear that down, I also try to build up for, at least me, this is the month of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And if you go to the Hallow app or just search in Catholic Sacred Heart of Jesus, you will find the prayers and the novena, as they say, and the story behind it, what it means. But really, his heart is tortured because we do not accept his love, but he pours it out anyway, the blood and water washing us clean. So this month, June to me, is the Sacred Heart of Jesus. That said, you're talking about returning. And like returning to a spot that, you grew up in and you forget, you almost start to see ghosts, right?
You do. Yeah, listen.
But in a good way.
It seems like a dream sometimes. Yeah. Surreal. Yeah.
Very surreal.
I'm tracking.
And so sometimes, the body gives out. You get older. Yeah, it's good that you're doing this now and you're what? You're like 49?
Yeah, 56, bro.
Just tell people you're 40. They'll be like, heck
yeah. No, I didn't know anything at 40. Now I know a little, so.
But, say you get into your 70s, you get into your 80s. Yep. The body starts to give up. As my grandfather tells me all the time, don't get old, Joe. Don't get old. I'm like, no, I pray to St. Joseph all the time for a peaceful death. It'll be real old. But let's start.
Yeah.
From Ecclesiastes 1:10, very beginning of the book. Mm-hmm. Is there anything of which one can say, look, this is something new? It was here already, long ago. It was here before our time. I'll need a new book soon, Joe, he says, reclining in his burgundy leather chair. How's that one you're finishing up, I ask. Just okay. It's a 9-book series, and the author seems to have gotten ahead of herself with all her characters and plot lines. Like, she didn't have an ending in mind when she began. She's rushing to tie up all the loose ends, a bit sloppy. But you enjoyed it, I ask. I guess, he says. Just something to pass the time away. It's like clockwork, I chuckle. When I get home, I always find you snoozing in that recliner with some audiobook still rolling. I guess you enjoy them enough to fall asleep. Hey, where I'm at in life, I think I've earned the right to sit and read and nap away the day, he says. Plus, it's like I've read all these stories already anyway. Nothing new under the sun, I say, and you're right. You definitely have the right to rest for as many days as you believe. We sit in silence for a moment. As I sort through his daily mail, email, and text he can no longer see. How many books have you read in your life, I ask. Oh, probably thousands, he says. I used to keep a tally over the years, but I've lost count now. Have you ever reread any of your favorites, I ask. I don't do that, he says. At least not on purpose. Sometimes I'll start a story, then a few chapters into it, I'll remember the ending and put it down. Aren't there stories, though, that you love? Or even if you know the ending, you want to revisit them again and again, like sitting with old friends and reliving the same tales? I ask. I haven't really thought of that, he says, but that's a good point, though. I mean, there's that one story you've told me about for years, I say. The one where the spaceship sang? Yeah, The Ship That Sang. One of my favorites, he says. How long has it been since you've read it, I ask. I bet you'll get a kick out of reading it again, even if you remember the ending halfway through. Well, then next time you load up a new book for me, make it that one. Good idea. We sit in silence some more. Most of his daily mail is worldly junk. Garbage in, garbage out. Old as soon as it was new. Nothing worth seeing. Do you always read science fiction, I ask? Mostly, but also crime detective novels too, he says. There's this one author, I can't remember his name, but he's such a beautiful writer. I think he's still alive too. Most of my favorite authors are dead. But they're still alive in their work, I say. True, he says. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever read as much as you, I tell him. At least not thousands of science fiction and detective novels. But you read plenty, don't you? He asked me. You would have to, given the work and writing you do. I guess I read mostly nonfiction these days, I say. Often the same stories over and over again. Each time something new comes out of the same old tales. It's as though some stories are so true that they never die. They begin and end with the same types and characters, but there is something always new to find each time I sit with them, as though each character is alive and active in a way that defies time. And when I hold them dear in my heart and mind, they're almost transfigured by something more than us, something that sings like eternity even when we know the end. Well, that's a lot, he says. Sorry, I say. Sometimes I get carried away. No, it makes sense, he says. What have you been rereading of late? This week, I ask? Here, let me just share a passage that jumped out at me that explains what I'm getting at. I get up from the couch and go back to my room and grab a black leather-bound book with gold leaf pages. Isn't that the Bible, he asks? Some of it, I say, opening to the page with the gold ribbon has saved. The end of it. Everything after the Gospels, from Acts to John's Apocalypse. Here it is, I say. From the book of Revelation. These are the words he heard me reread, resting well-deserved in his burgundy leather chair. He who was seated on the throne said, I am making everything new. Then he said, write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true. He said to me, it is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. I had somebody after church ask me, well, what's the point of the thing you wrote this week? And I'm like, you just got to read it. But the main point is, I think there are some stories that are so true that you can never exhaust them. You can never stop revisiting them. And I think it would be a travesty to stop revisiting them and meditating on them and retelling them to your children and to your friends. And when a new thing jumps out at the page on you, for you, because, a good sci-fi book or a good detective novel, or some people are into, I guess Dan Brown was a thing for a while. John Grisham was a thing for a while. Whoever is the latest hip author that's on the bestsellers list. But most of those books, though well-crafted, they're kind of, once you read them, they're done. You don't revisit them. And even the stuff that's really well-crafted, like some, I still stand by, I think The Great Gatsby is one you should definitely revisit.
Yep.
And like the classic stories of old, the myths, like I hope Christopher Nolan doesn't bastardize the Odyssey too much with this new movie coming out. It might be, anyway. But So there are a lot of stories worth revisiting, but in particular, I find there's something about Scripture that's inexhaustible, that it's beyond, it's above the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. It's above the sun. It's beyond the sun. And when you try to understand exactly what's happening, in particular the book of Revelation, it's like trying to explain to a triangle what a pyramid is. It's a completely different dimension, folks. Yeah, no, like go listen to Eric Weinstein try to talk about 14-dimensional reality. You'll be like, what is he even talking about? But I think there are things that sustain us in all these stories we tell, and the life that we live that is indeed a story, that isn't just words on a page, but is in fact lived, as you're re-experiencing, Troy. I think I've learned when you revisit, you'll start to notice new things. It's very cool that you were able to go back to your hometown as I'm thinking about, say, rereading important stories.
Yeah, I was looking over the fields that I once swore I would never go back to. And then you realize this is what shaped you. This is what molded you. And there's great Americans everywhere, Joey, like you, like me, like Robin, like Eddie. They're out there. Sometimes we're just disconnected from our brothers and sisters. And I think it's important to get back to that. But I wanted to say to you on that writing, that is probably your best piece that I've heard. And Ecclesiastics, since we're in that book, 11:9, rejoice, O young man, in thy youth.
Oh, yeah.
But remember, put away evil from thy heart and thoughts of the flesh, and everything will be new again. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and there's another part that's, I guess, in chapter 3, I don't have it memorized, but it talks about God puts eternity in man's heart.
Yes.
So, like, as we finish a story, and you don't want it to end,
Right.
and you're like, that's the eternity calling. Like,
That's right.
Joy truly wants that sort of eternity. And why you mentioned something? Why did you promise yourself you would never go back to those fields? Where were you at?
Just one of
that
those.
point?
When I left, Joey, I don't know how you were when you left here to go to Auburn, but there was a bigger world out there.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started, even as a young man, I was deployed to Honduras during as a cadet, and so I was quickly thrust into traveling with the military. And I just, Joey, maybe I was arrogant. Maybe I had pride in me that I was greater than what I came from. But then I realized through humility and grace and rising to high levels and then falling in different jobs, different positions with the government, I realized something. Everything I needed was in the book, and everything I needed was in the ground there.
Yeah.
And I just, maybe it was just youthful hubris.
Well, no, and it's interesting. I think we have same source, pride. And I think I told you this without going too much private conversation, you and Dawson this the other night.
Yeah.
That I look at you and him, and I see some of the mistakes, and y'all were very extroverted and still are very extroverted gentlemen. And you go out into the world, and that, all the, you were searching, like making more friends, getting more stuff, more experiences, seeing more of the world, networking, all this stuff. Whereas my pride led me to go cave in.
Yes.
Cave in, shut out the world, shut off my mind, just get by. And I don't want anybody to see me, not even God himself. And it's interesting that it can be the same source.
That's why I consider you one of my best friends, because you're the antithesis of how I approach. But I pull you kicking and screaming along, and you bring me back to certain things. And I think this experience I had in Ohio, I thought of you. I thought of the ministry we have on the air right now, and it was the Holy Spirit moved on me, and it's just it. So yeah.
No, and I think there's a lot of that going on in this world, and it'll show up in different ways. And that's one thing that sometimes can be frustrating. That experience you have is sometimes very difficult to translate to somebody else.
Yes.
And you should accept it as a gift. It is, and don't linger on it. Like, don't cling to it. No. Like that gift, that consolation ain't God himself.
That's right.
But it's I think a time where I think more and more folks are starting to wake up to this now. We need to work on the boomers, but I am not worried at all on the younger generations. But my hope is more the young men in particular, and young women, start to find themselves, ground themselves in something real, The New York Times over the weekend was worried, this past week, that everything's starting to feel more medieval. And it's like, well, no, what's happening is the secular lie.
That's right.
In fact, secular is created by the church, the public space. The secular is the very concept that was supposed to be nested in the ecclesiastical and nested in the larger plan of God. And the secular all of a sudden started saying, no, we can just stand on our own. We can take all the fruits of this long, long tradition, and we don't need this anymore. We don't need this foundation because it's not scientific or it's not rational, or look how judgmental it is. Shouldn't you have pride in all the things you ever wanted to do to find happiness here on earth? And you're starting to see, I think, that lie fade. Now, are there lies in the forms of sort of religion and other spirituality? Of course. Yes, always is. There's always something competing for your attention. But I think it's a good thing that more and more folks are starting to realize, oh, something's changing. The old ways we used to do things, the old distractions we used to use to keep us our head above water, so to speak, that self-seeking in the moment, or that lingering on past glory days, or that constant anxiety about the future. So you fill it up with, all the great distractions of modern living. Now you look at things, you go, maybe there's something more to this story. Now, I'm speaking as somebody who's not a parent. I look at parents and I'm like, my goodness, you folks who, your main world is taking care of those, especially young children. And God love you for it, because it can be quite a chore. As beautiful and as a miracle children are, it can be quite a chore. But my hope is that as that younger generation, with those young children, grounding themselves in a world beyond the secular lie of, in particular, the 20th century, you will start to see your fathers and your grandfathers return with you.
Yes.
And, of course, your mothers and your grandmothers, too. Yep. We're all in this together. And that's my hope, at least. And some of it will be politics, but there's a whole aspect of it that has nothing to do with who you vote for, or whether or not you think Donnie from Queens is being rope-a-doped by the Iranians at the moment. Who knows? We'll see what's about to happen with that, and we'll get into all that in just a minute. First, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and their Pest Pro Ashley and that great team are ready to help you out.
Yes, they are.
If you're looking for just great pest control needs. Now, with all this rain that's been coming down.
Mosquitoes are out, man.
The heat and the rain, they love getting out there. So if you actually want to enjoy your property, whether you have a beautiful backyard or you like to sit on the front porch, or maybe you got a big property that you try to manage, why not have the mosquitoes gone? They're nasty creatures. Really, I think that if you're looking for a product of the fall, look at a mosquito up close under a microscope. Yeah, they are really disgusting things. So if you want to get rid of them, Pest Pro can help you out in that regard. And of course, they can get you basic pest control services that are second to none. It's a great success story, Pest Pro Services. Out of the pandemic, a business started with 2-3 people. It's now grown into a huge team serving all of the river region. Great local folks that are always giving back to the community as well. So check out Pest Pro today. You can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces, or call them direct. 265-9990. That's 265-9990. And be sure to tell Ashley and the great team there at Pest Pro that Joey and Troy, the souls on the radio, sent you. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
At Montgomery Men's Health, we saw a bunch of patients last month. Almost none came because of an ad. They came because something happened. A fight with a wife who finally said, "Get help." A breakup. A new relationship that made them aware of things they used to ignore. A photo a friend tagged them in. One guy said he just stared at himself in the mirror, and that was enough. If today's your day, call right now. 334-440-3663. I'm Dr. Smith, urologist and advisor to Montgomery Men's Health. Built on almost 15 years of treating men in Alabama, one patient at a time. Dedicated to ED, low T, and male performance. Here's what happens when you call. We book you this week. We'll get a lab in an hour. For ED, we walk you through your real options at the same visit. A plan before you leave. Don't let today turn into next year. Call now. 334-440-3663. That's 334-440-3663. MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that is embodied and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Wall Street opened with gains while oil prices, which had been falling, jumped again as tensions between the U.S. and Iran escalated. Brent crude oil, the international standard, rose $2.52 early today to $93.64 per barrel. U.S. crude rose $2.93 to $90.29 per barrel. FedEx Freight, a spin-off of the package delivery giant, rose more than 2% during pre-market on its first day of trading. NVIDIA also gained more than 2% in the early going after the chipmaker unveiled powerful new chips to bring AI functions into laptops and desktop computers, including those made by Microsoft and Dell, set to roll out later this year. China reports its manufacturing activity slowed last month, although it is still expanding according to official statistics. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this, listen close, you get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to June. Welcome to hurricane season. First day of meteorological summer. Cloudy early, then mostly sunny. Risk of some scattered spotty storms by the afternoon hours, and we'll be watching a cluster of storms into the evening hours tonight. High today up to about 89, low tonight down to about 70, then mostly sunny on Tuesday, high 88 to 90. Risk of isolated pop-up storms perhaps, but look for drier air Wednesday through Friday. Lots of sun, highs in the low 80s daytime and near 60 at night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When the heat hits to the river region, don't wait. If your AC quits, Hands Heating and Air offers same-day service, or your diagnostic charge is free with their Comfort a Day or You Don't Pay guarantee, plus 24/7 service with no overtime charges.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
No. He's trying to do something. I'm like, no, don't do that thing. I'm just going to lean into my own thing. In due time. That's what I'm learning, in due time. No reason to rush it.
All right.
Because too many people have rushed it, and then the whole thing, the bottom falls
Joey,
down.
you're such a, he's a dreamboat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. By the way, Alan Mendenhall joining us.
Oh, man, I love it.
And the last two essays he's written have been family pieces, and they're just absolutely beautifully done.
Returns his roots, too.
He's really, really good. And, a lot of touching stuff that we'll get into with Alan. Yeah, we're all three of us kind of on that same wavelength in our own way.
Men and, my dad taught me, strong men criticize themselves. Strong men critique themselves and look at themselves. And how could I do this better? What should I do better? You're there, I'm there, and I know Alan is. And Alan's trying to do it for all of us. He's like trying to do it for everyone. It's like, let's get back to our basics and roots. And you said something interesting, the secular world and the youth. Most generations that are beyond the young generation say, they don't know what I did when I was growing up, blah, blah. I'm with you. I think that they have lost their faith in the secular world. It's not fulfilling. They're not getting spiritually fed. They're not getting meaning in their life. And I think there's going to be a renaissance for that. I worry, though, about the older generations that are materialistic, and that's the thing.
And some folks will make their choice, but you can't force anybody to do it.
Nope.
There is a freedom to this, but the freedom is actually found in obedience to the right
Well,
one.
if we were Islamic, we could just cut your head off if you don't agree.
Yeah, right.
But we're
right.
not there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet. Now, just to cover a little bit of the news, I saw this morning while I'm having breakfast with my uncle, the priest, and my grandfather over there at Chappie's, and I was like, I should at least check some of the news. It's actually a very slow news day after looking through, but I saw this from Trump.
Okay.
Iran really wants to make a deal, and it would be a good one for the USA and those that are with us, but don't the Democrats and various seemingly unpatriotic Republicans understand that it is much tougher for me to properly do my job and negotiate when political hacks keep negatively chirping at levels never before, over and over again, that I should move faster or move slower or go to war or not go to war or whatever. Just sit back and relax. It will all work out well in the end. It always does. President DJT. And so I saw that this morning. I went, classic Trump. And then I see Iran stops all negotiations with the U.S., promises to completely block the Strait of Hormuz, demanding Israel cease all strikes on Hezbollah, as Netanyahu and team have decided to, as they say, destroy Hezbollah. And I mean, I wonder how many times we've had the war to completely destroy Hezbollah. I'm wondering how they keep surviving. I'm sure there's a practical reason for that.
There is.
Of course, Iran thus is panicking over that attack by the Israelis, trying to bring that into any sort of ceasefire. Well, if Israel hits Hezbollah, that's you're in violation. And then you saw Iran's president. This to me is the most interesting one. He offered to resign, and the reason he says that is citing total takeover by the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC commanders. So that to me signals like, okay, if they completely have cut ties, they're doing it over the Israeli strikes in Beirut. You have the civilian leadership who does seem now that guy, the foreign minister and folks were actually negotiating with Trump and team.
Yeah, they were.
And the Ayatollah and the IRGC are singing a completely different song.
But I think what the real telling story is that we have seen the IRGC, which was made and created after the revolution in 1979 to preserve the fervor and the zeal of the Shia religion and to spread it throughout the world. Then we have let's call it the secular government.
Yeah, it's a republic.
Right. It's a constitutional republic. And here's the thing, though, about it. There's a disconnect not only with the political civilian branch with the IRGC, but I believe the Ayatollah has been marginalized too. Now, isn't it odd? The one vanguard, the sentinel of the revolution, has strayed from this religious conviction now, and it's about self-preservation and self-propagation. And that's really to our advantage, big time. But we missed the boat, Joey. I could go on for hours about this, but rules and diplomacy, what we've done is we have created a false narrative where they believe that they have power to do these things. We're going to close the straits again. This could have been solved months ago by completely dismantling their system. And I think where we missed the boat is he got bad intel from the CIA, and I'm going to tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
We needed to pre-drop weapons to civilian areas where they could be distributed away from the besieged and them. We left them hanging. They were ready to go out. They were fighting without weapons and dying in droves. But the civilians needed armaments, and
then
done that.
do you buy the story that the Kurds were armed, but they were kind of like
they kept the weapons? They kept. Listen, we airdropped to the Kurds and asked them to distribute them. That's because we have have Blue Falcon.
So you think that's true?
That was payback. That was payback for that. Yeah.
No, and I think you said CIA. It's also I tend to believe, because it strikes me as true, the New York Times reporting on this, whoever leaked it. Is the briefing Netanyahu gave Trump. And like most, as it lays out in the piece, and it makes sense, the CIA director, many other counterparts said this is classic Israel, they oversell and they're very overconfident in their operational plans, in particular when they're trying to sell it to an American president. And Trump kind of decided, well, they probably are being overzealous, but we don't have to get full regime change, and we can handle the Hormuz part. But we're now at the beginning of June.
I agree, Joey. And I say this. I've worked with CIA. I've been to CIA training programs at the farm when I was with DIA. That's a group. If it's anything like it was when I was in, and I have reason to believe it is, they recruit from exclusive universities. They don't have a lot of real practical experience on the ground soldiering. And so you got a lot of idealists that have an enormous budget, unlimited budget and capability, but they are very bad about overestimating confidently in certain situations. And I'll be honest with you, we haven't had human sources in Iran for probably 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. We depend on the Israelis to give us that intelligence. They have very good.
Now, one thing I was laying out last week, I don't know if you heard it.
I'm not sure.
That what we could be heading towards is Trump will continue to negotiate with certain players, even now that all negotiation talks have stopped. There's still going to be back channeling, especially with all the other players in the region, the Gulf Arabs and whatnot. Those folks are going to keep talking, and as the Iranians and the IRGC and Ayatollah think they're biding their time, what you're going to see is like another strike that we saw at the very beginning of this thing.
I think we are too.
We're probably going to see more assassinations of these people.
I think, Joey, I hate saying this, but I wrote an article for Substack on this. The American military-industrial complex is geared towards a different type of war than this.
Yeah.
We're not prepared for the massive amount of munitions needed on drones and things. So
that's why we slowed
the truth of the
pace.
matter is, we had to take a breather.
And it's a mess. Well, and there was an interesting comment to bring this into a bigger picture, where in that meeting, it was very cordial when Trump and Xi Jinping, president of China, met. Very cordial, a lot of happy talk going both ways, and we've made no grand deal. But then Putin visited after that, and Xi Jinping doubled down on this idea that the world is heading in their direction, into a multipolar direction with these unipolar power, sadly trying to act like they're still the unipolar power, and yet they're in decline. And I don't think America fully is in decline, but I also would say we would be dumb to just go, that's our rival doing his own happy talk. I think there are elements to, like what you just mentioned. Like you had a few weeks of hardcore bombing, and now we're kind of like, ooh, we don't have a capacity. And think of it's just basic, like Victor Davis Hanson, World War II.
Right.
As soon as America enters World War II, there were still going to be a lot of deaths, and there were a lot of deaths. But as soon as America enters, the Allies won because of just production capacity.
That's the thing. You're right. And I think what people don't consider is, well, you mean that's all we had? No, we have to keep reserves for China, for other scenarios and other contingencies. So Joey, we've known about this now, drones, for darn near 20 years, and we have failed to upgrade our best practices. And I wrote another article on that in Substack, just basically laying out the details of why we are where we're at right now. And the number one part and reason to contribute to that, Joey, is our antiquated requisitions and acquisition system in the government. It could take 7 to 10 years to get a weapon fielded. By that time, the caliber has already been surpassed by other technology. Yep. We have to get nimble. We have to get agile. We have to get mobile and hostile, and ass-kicking violence on the objective. But you can't do ass-kicking violence on the objective if you don't have the right gear, brother.
That's two for the day. He got two in real quick. I've been out
for a week. I had to make up.
2 AKVs already, folks, but they were appropriately used for sure. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. Let's get these done early. And they're Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you fellas out if you don't feel like a man anymore. In fact, you feel shot through in terms of your confidence, not just in the bedroom, which talk about frustrating, to put it mildly.
I think Trump needs to go to Montgomery Men's Health. We need some more testosterone in him.
I don't know about that. That man is testosterone overflow with all that Mickey D's and Diet Coke. He really is.
And I'll tell you, Montgomery Men's Health, what the great thing is, they can do your testing that day and determine what's wrong.
Absolutely. Real quick. And it's just a quick blood draw. And if you got low T, that can usually be the problem, where you're not sleeping well. You're getting thicker around the middle, more visceral fat around your waist. You don't have much of an appetite. You're never in the mood. Like your confidence, like a job you've been working for 20, 30 years. Now you're second guessing yourself. It couldn't even be a job. It could be like doing work around the house. And now you're like, you don't feel motivated. And you're like, I'm not sure I know how to do this. Like that is not normal. You don't have to live this way. And the beautiful thing is a lot of guys, after going to Montgomery Men's Health and getting tested and then getting the treatment that's appropriate for them, end up saying, man, I wish I'd done this sooner. Like 90-something% of guys respond to treatment. And of course, they also have things like the peptides.
Yeah.
Where you can do a peptide like NAD plus or Somorelin online. And then you can go in for an in-person consultation. So you can do the online subscription, real easy to sign up for, but then you go pick up your stuff there at Montgomery Men's Health, or of course they can ship it to you as well, but you can do that in-person element where you actually have a real team of medical folks and doctors and specialists actually working with you. And I'm noticing with the Somorelin, like the gym in particular, it's much easier. Now,
keep my growth.
It's not a silver bullet. You still got to eat well and do all the other stuff, folks. But if you are just looking for that little edge, a little bit of help, or in fact, you're really in the gutter and you're having a lot of trouble, or maybe, and I don't want to talk about this too explicitly, maybe you ever heard of a fellow worried about size?
There's a myth, though, that is going around. I saw that they're trying to debunk about that, it's not what you think. So,
yeah. But if you're worried about size, they can help you there, too.
Robin said that she feels cheated sometimes, not in my relationship, in her previous relationship, that she thought centimeters was inches. I'm sorry, Robin. But you said that about, not about
I'm just
me,
going to, you can go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com if you want to learn more what I'm talking about. So, again, that's Montgomery Men's Health, powered by Men's Pro. You can always make an appointment by just calling them direct at 440-3663. That's 334-440-3663. Or you can always book online in under 30 seconds at MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. That's Montgomery Men's Health for every man and every season of life. So you think Trump should just like double down? You need more AKV in this situation.
Well, we do, but the problem is we, like I said, I think our stockpiles are, listen, when you are engaging 150 to, let's just say, 250 wave drone strike. I mean, just a swarm. And these drones average about $1,000 each. And you're expending $1.5 million, $2.5 million system gear on it. That's not going to get it done. And we unfortunately, or fortunately, I would say, Joey, that's good it happened now instead of with China. Mm-hmm. China, it's better this way. Because I know for a fact they have created new positions called chief technology officers for each branch that are looking at best practices. They're merging consumer off-the-shelf technologies. Here's the thing. COTS, we call it COTS, consumer off-the-shelf technology. Mm-hmm. It can translate quicker in a matter of weeks sometimes and changes to their product where it would take years for the government to
also do. I saw a story that apparently Iran is using ChatGPT and other AI to spin up an incredible cyber warfare division.
They are, but they've always been good at cyber warfare. But we are pretty adept too at it. In fact, you know this, that the Natanz nuclear facility was compromised by America and Israel. But
Stuxnet.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Listen, so that's always going on. It's in the background. But I think the thing to take away is this. Trump doesn't have as many options as he thinks, as he projects that he does.
Well, somebody asked me point blank days after this was started, like, what do you think? I'm like, well, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't have done it. Now, it's easy to Monday morning quarterback this thing, but I remember early on saying, I wouldn't have done it. Maybe he's got something up his sleeve or I'm not aware of. Because of things like this, where America's capacity, especially in, say, a few-week period or a month period, second to none. Like, our technology is superior in many ways, but you're right. It's more expensive. We're running out of it. And if Iran can do an asymmetrical game where they talk, they block up oil prices around the world, then thus your problem. While the even reasonable people in Iran want to talk, revolutionaries are still revolutionary.
Yeah, I think, though, Joey, one thing I do believe, and I think it's lost in the butcher's bill of this combat, we have dismantled the vestiges of the theocracy there.
Sure.
We have a rogue IRGC that's basically shunned the rest of the government and the people. they will reap their bitter rewards soon enough, whether it be from our sword or from internal. Here's the deal. If the IRGC now is the de facto power base, you've got sub-commanders and mini-commanders that are jockeying for positions. We have damaged their ballistic missile capabilities. We have certainly set back their nuclear program to a point where we can probably negate them by the time they could get to a point of making a bomb.
And perhaps we should end this segment where we began. Trump said, all this chirping. I should go to war. I shouldn't go to war. I'm going too fast. I'm going too slow. You have no idea. Relax. Sit back. Relax. It'll all be fine in the end. Perhaps he's right.
I think he probably is. I mean,
but it's kind of our job to chirp.
Sure it is.
A little bit.
Sure it is.
So we will, we'll keep watching and wondering, but I'm waiting on where's the full-on result. Where's the full-on result? And it's a shame because there are enough problems as is. But here is a quick Fox News report after the strikes that I think they're quoting Trump here a little bit.
SITCOM, meanwhile, says U.S. forces have carried out a fourth round of self-defensive strikes on Iranian targets. This follows the Iranian Revolutionary Guard downing an American drone over the weekend. Overnight, the president posted this: Iran really wants to make a deal, and it would be good. It would be a good one for the USA. Just sit back and relax. It will all work out well in the end. It always does. He's also reportedly sent that radical Islamic regime some proposed changes to the latest peace deal. It offers tougher language on Iran's nuclear commitments, and it pledges to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. A former deputy national security advisor is backing the president's approach.
But of course, now Iran's saying all negotiations are off of blocking Hormuz. Well, here we are.
I think that, honestly, Joey, I think that they don't have a lot of cards to play either. So we're kind of at a stalemate.
You got to wonder whose side is time on. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
It's Bob B.
Hey, Bob B. How you doing?
Yeah, it's Troy.
Hey, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So, Mexican standoff?
Yeah.
Something like that.
You think what we're... I self-imposed Mexican standoff.
It is.
It's like fighting in the basement, except the basement's the Strait of Hormuz.
But the munitions, trust me when I tell you, and I have this from very reliable sources, we have failed to prepare ourselves properly for best practices to encourage. Listen, we only make certain munitions at certain armories, like Letterkenny Arsenal up in Pennsylvania, Lake City Arsenal out in Whiteman, outside of Whiteman Air Force Base there in Missouri. So, Papa B, my concern is this. You have to keep enough stockpile for contingency operations. If China ramps up, right now is the perfect time for China to do something. I mean, it's a perfect time. Yeah. So be vigilant in that. And I think the takeaway, Papa B, and I'll be interested to get your opinion, is why are we here 20 years after knowing that this is a very real threat? We have stayed in a conventional mindset that we can line up and fight you, but it's going to be asymmetric. No one's going to do that anymore after the Gulf War. So,
yeah, agreeing on a lot of that. I would say to some of it, though, Troy, is that any different than any other war we've ever been in? Because we always seem to be on the learning curve.
Yeah. Enemy gets a vote.
Some things, I'll point back to, our Humvees having to be upgraded in Iraq.
Yep.
Things like that. What was the general that said you go to war with the army that you have?
Yep.
I can't remember.
It was Pershing. I think it was Pershing who said that. Yeah, during World War I.
And so, yeah, I mean, I 100% agree that, we should be a lot more, not just vigilant, but, I mean, who couldn't have seen this kind of thing coming? You could see it 100 miles away, and, very little was done about it. But, good thing that you're right is happening now as opposed to with China, and that might be a sharpening of the sword with China. But China, I don't know, China is such a different kind of knot to untie. And, there's a lot of discussion, really. So just sticking with what we're, looking at right now. Joey, I think you made a real good point the other day that, we're probably looking at maybe some clever assassinations now. I don't think we're going to be looking at, any kind of all-out invasion or anything like that. But how do you assess our ability to swat at mosquitoes, Troy?
Not good.
When it comes to all of these IRGC generals and that kind of thing.
Not as good as Israel's.
No,
we can't. We're good, but I'm going to be honest with you. We're dependent. We are almost totally dependent upon the IDF for real ground truth intelligence. It's one thing to give. It's one thing to pick up signals intelligence and get a cell phone conversation and then start building a nexus off of that. It's another thing to have measurements and signatures intelligence and get this multi-int LiDAR and know where the buildings are at. It's a completely not. Papa B, if you're asking me what's my level of degree of confidence, on a scale of 1 to 10, 4.5, 5 to be able to really find what we want to get out there. I give it about 7.5 to 8 for the Israelis. They have actual operators on the ground that are human sources to the IDF. I know for a fact we've always been dependent on them when it comes to Iran. We've not had built a credible reporting system from Iran because remember this, guys, intelligence is only good if what? It's accurate, it's actionable, and it's timely. Those are the three things you got to have to make a good intelligence product. So to answer your question, we're negligent in probably all three of those areas right now.
Papa B, I'm out of time, but good conversation, man.
Yep. All right. Talk to you later.
Good stuff.
Got to hit this break. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico here in the studio, and this part of the program brought to you by Invista Advisors. And they're at Invista. They are, well, financial firm ready to help you out across the board, not just with the investment side of things. Of course, they have second to none services there.
They do.
When it comes to managing those investments, those assets for you. But if you're looking for all across the board financial planning, they have a team of different types of experts, include CPAs, business consultants, and yes, investment advisors, all working together to provide a comprehensive approach to financial planning and asset management. And so it could be you're at the beginning of life, just starting out a family, need things like life insurance and a plan for the kids. Could be you're more in the middle of life and a lot of your money's tied up in a business, or maybe you started a nonprofit and what used to be able to be run by you and a couple other people, you now need a team and you're in and over your head. And well, they have those consultants there. They can help you with that nonprofit endowments. They can help you at Invista. And of course, end of life concerns. You want to always have that buttoned up, especially, say you're the man in the house and you've been running the finances for a long time. You're starting to get up there. You don't want to leave your wife, your widow, having to sift through a big mess. So it's morbid to think about, but it's also good to really plan and make sure that your loved ones are taken care of, even if, well, that time always comes for everybody. So check out Invista Advisors today. You can always just go to InvistaAdvisors.com or just give them a call direct at 387-0094. That's 387-0094. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Troy, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Now, in a second, we got Alan Mendenhall coming up.
So excited.
who wrote just two beautiful essays, very family-oriented, wonderful essays the last couple weeks. So I look forward to talking to Alan about that. And stories about being a father and essentially watching his son grow up, but also the wild world of making things work, especially divorce. It's not fun, as he says in the piece, but still got to make it work for the kids, especially.
Yeah.
So plenty to get into with Alan.
Could you see him as a liberal at Furman? Do you think so?
Yeah.
I see him as a classic.
Because
a classic.
I'm that way. Like there's a lot of libertarians who are like that.
Well, if you're 20,
and Alan's even more, I think, kind of a Russell Kirk conservative, if you wouldn't mind me saying at this point.
Interesting.
I think he's much more like leaned into the tradition stuff, along with the free market economics. And
that's why I say
a lot of great insights he has. Classically liberal, but I think he has some Burkean conservative going on with him these days. But yeah, I think there's a lot of people who have made that journey where you're kind of real liberal and idealistic.
It's 20, right, and then 30, right, a heart head thing, yeah,
right. It's the other folks that do the completely different route. Where you're like a hard ass, when you're in 20 something, all of a sudden
they lose it.
Yeah.
Estrogen washes over them.
No, it's actually when all the hippies grew up and took over the music industry. That's when it all went to crap.
Well,
it was the businessmen who empowered the hippies.
It's the 60s, man. I'm telling you, burning bras, leaving, tuning out, dropping out, doing LSD. That's not maybe so bad, but anyways, they're using that for PTSD now.
No,
that would be a terrible
LSD,
thing. Could you imagine that? Listen, Joey, I don't listen. PTSD and LSD.
No.
They do not go together.
No.
Mushrooms, maybe yes, but not LSD.
All right. Anyway, land of the lotus eaters, folks, and that might be a circle of hell, indeed. Anyway, Alan Mendenhall coming up after this break.
From the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Iran's state-affiliated news outlet says that Iranian negotiators will stop exchanging messages with the U.S. through intermediaries, and Iran will move to fully close the Strait of Hormuz in retaliation for ongoing ceasefire violations. In New York City, Mayor Zoran Mamdani did not attend an annual parade honoring Israel. Mamdani skipped the event as he remains under heavy scrutiny from some of the city's Jewish population over his long-standing criticism of Israel. A Utah judge declining a request from the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk to restrict access to parts of his July preliminary hearing. Tyler Robinson's defense hoped to bar reporters and the public from part of the proceedings. They will feature the most significant presentation of evidence so far. This is SRN News.
Spring is here, and if you're staring at a home improvement project, wondering how you're going to pay for it, or looking at a big credit card bill piling up, I want you to know about my friends Mike and Brian and the team at Fellowship Home Loans. For over 20 years, Mike and Brian have been helping families like yours tap into something they already have, equity in their own home, a HELOC, a cash-out refi, a debt consolidation loan to wipe out those high-interest credit cards. Whatever fits your situation, Fellowship Home Loans will build it around you. Everything's done in-house, one roof, one team, all with a servant-led mentality. From your very first phone call to closing, you're going to get people who know your name and treat you like family. I know, I'm a customer. Right now, they're offering a free mortgage checkup, no pressure, just a real look at your options. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510 Mike, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to June. Welcome to hurricane season. First day of meteorological summer. Cloudy early, then mostly sunny. Risk of some scattered spotty storms by the afternoon hours, and we'll be watching a cluster of storms into the evening hours tonight. High today up to about 89, low tonight down to about 70, then mostly sunny on Tuesday, high 88 to 90. Risk of isolated pop-up storms perhaps, but look for drier air Wednesday through Friday. Lots of sun, highs in the low 80s daytime and near 60 at night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. The city of Montgomery has paid over $220,000 in overtime to employees of the Office of Violence Prevention over the past 4 years. The largest recipient of overtime pay was Violence Prevention Community Liaison Rochelle Tyrus, who has received over $176,000. Mayor Stephen Reed launched the Office of Violence Prevention in December 2021. A federal judge has ruled that execution by nitrogen gas does not violate the constitutional ban on cruel and unusual punishment. The ruling rejected an Alabama inmate's claim that nitrogen hypoxia causes excessive suffering. The federal ruling clears the way for Alabama to continue with the execution method that has been used to put 7 people to death. Authorities are looking for a man wanted for attempted murder in Lowndes County. 28-year-old Damian Lawrence is described as 5'8", approximately 140 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. Lawrence is known to have friends and family in the Montgomery area. Anyone with information regarding the whereabouts of Damian Lawrence is urged to contact police. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Tired of spending your weekends fighting weeds, patchy grass, and a mower that never starts? Mosley Lawn Pros is the solution. They handle residential and commercial lawn maintenance, landscaping, cleanups, and property care so you don't have to. They show up on time, do the job right, and leave your lawn looking sharp every time. Stop stressing over your yard and start loving it. When it comes to your lawn, call the crew your neighbors and local businesses trust. One call, one crew, problem solved. Mosley Lawn Pros, built on hard work, driven by quality. Find them today on Facebook or Google.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico here in the studio with me. And joining us now, as he does every other Monday, Alan Mendenhall. Alan, how are you today, kind sir?
I'm great. How are you, Joey?
Doing very well, better than I deserve. And I was just telling folks that, your last 2 op-eds for 1819, literary and beautiful, family-based, just really well done. And I think great lessons. And kind of the show's turned into that. I wrote something very similar, having to do with my grandfather. Troy just wrote a piece that's coming out later today. It has to do with going back to his roots in Ohio. So we're all kind of on the same wavelength, singing the same
We're just
song.
3 saps. We're just gonna sit here and
We're on the potter's wheel. We're on the potter's wheel, brother. That's what we are.
Now, I have to say, I'll do it this way. One you wrote last week. My mother would not let me play American football, would not let me play football until I was in 8th grade when she let me, finally, which is about 14. Yeah. And so that day has finally arrived for your son?
yeah, well, it came and went pretty fast, actually. But he made it through, I guess, roughly a week of practice, and it was not his decision to end it. So very first practice, his shoulder popped out of socket during some drill or whatever. I don't know. I wasn't there to see it happen. but it was fairly grotesque, I'm told. And fortunately, coach is also a doctor, so he popped it back in, and everything was operational. Then the next week, it happened again, and apparently this time it was even more grotesque.
That was some transmission issues.
Alan, are you there? You froze up on us. I don't know why.
Radio check.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know what happened there.
But you said you're on the second time they got grotesque.
Yeah, I was just building suspense. My internet was building suspense there for you. But yeah, no,
What happened?
The second time it. Uh-oh. Am I out again?
No, I can hear you still. Yeah, well, okay. Dadgummit.
The best laid plans.
Here, let me try something.
Try something different.
I'm trying removing you off. Maybe it's too many cameras.
I think it's his signal from where he's at. Because it's got that like
this is unfortunate. Like, because these are great stories here, folks. I might just have to read them.
They're very good.
Alan, are you there? Oh, well. But yeah, like I remember the good old days starting out with foosball. And I also have I had a mother that was a nurse.
Yeah.
So the amount of protectiveness from the mama bear was very much a real thing.
I believe it.
For better or for worse, it was very much a real thing. I think there's one story. Alan's just left the stream, and he probably will try to join us. Where I don't remember the circumstances. I think it was basketball, and I had a nasty collision and fell, and she goes out, and I was young. I was only 9, something like that, and she went out to the court and turned around and goes, "It's okay, I'm a nurse." And I'm like, how embarrassing. But a mother's love nonetheless. Don't mess with some of those Polish ladies.
No. They'll get you.
They are quite. I think we got Alan back here. I was just informing folks.
I apologize.
Oh, good. I was just informing folks that I also, grew up with a mom who's a nurse, and the protectiveness from the mom can be, it's beautiful and it's what moms do, but especially when they have that nursing background, you're like, no, let's listen to the doctor coach.
Listen to him again.
Alan, are you there? No. Dadgummit.
That's all right.
Oh, well. Well, folks, technology strikes again here at the Blue Water Broadcasting headquarters.
Chinese are jamming us.
Best internet in town. Yeah, maybe it's them laying down all that new fiber optic. People are messing with the internet.
I think a lot of it
I don't know.
They're really expanding.
It's very unfortunate. Well, anyway, do you have any, mama's boys?
Yeah.
That I have?
My oh boy, Robin's like, don't tell some of the stories, Troy. My mom, you're listening. I know my mom was a very good mom. She was very strict and disciplined with us. No, we played ball at an early age. Listen, Joey, we used to ride big red 3-wheelers that Honda made. Okay, and they would bounce. They're not like a 4-wheeler, Joey. And they've outlawed him. You can't get him anymore. My brother would get flung, bust his head wide open.
Goodness.
My mom knew that chaos would ensue. Now, did you and your brother, what's the age difference of you and your brother?
3 years. I think
So
we've
you guys
got
grew up
Alan
together.
back, by the way, on a different platform.
I had to call from my phone. I'm calling in on my phone now. I don't know if this is better, but it seems to be working, which is definitely a good sign.
Yeah, and I guess I left off where we were talking, I had a mother who's a nurse, and it's a blessing, but it's also it can be a curse with the overprotectiveness. But, maybe your son was in good hands in this case because this situation kept happening.
Well, it happened again, and the second time it basically stayed out, and they finally got it in. It took it took a little bit more labor than anybody really wanted to get it back in, and so my ex-wife and her gaggle of nurse friends determined he needed to see a doctor, And apparently they were right. So that we took him to the doctor. The doctor said he needed an MRI to see if he needed surgery. And that MRI happened, I don't know, it's been a couple of weeks now, maybe even 3 weeks. But we haven't gotten the results, which I take to be a good sign, because if something were really wrong, they would reach out to us immediately, and nobody has reached out to us. So I assume his shoulder is okay, but his football career is not. So I think everybody has sort of agreed that his football career was short-lived. It was about a week long. And the good news is his basketball team is practicing all summer, so he'll be able to do that. Yeah.
Is he growing? Is he growing right now? I mean, would that safe to say maybe, or?
It's freakish. He's growing freakishly. He gets bigger. He looks like a giant frog. He used to look like a little frog. Now he looks like a giant frog.
He gets it honestly.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm joking.
Well, and you took out of this experience, especially him having to deal with the MRI machine, that like the milestones, it's like these little snapshots that sneak up on you. Like these, it's not the obligatory holidays, high holidays or anything. It's just a random afternoon where something clicks in the mind as a father.
Yeah, everybody like tries to sum up childhood in terms of a big birthday party or a graduation, walking across the stage, but really the lessons you learn in life are from all these little moments. It's from the little things that, and sometimes you don't even really remember all the little things, but the accumulation of them over time leads to who you are as a person, and not the big momentous occasions.
Yeah, and then the piece you came out with, it dropped today. I guess a big vacation across Spain. I've never had the privilege of doing that, but this was the ex's idea, bringing the kids. But this, like, it ties in a lot of extended family. Explain a little bit.
Yeah, so my first wife was Brazilian, and of course she speaks Portuguese, which is what people speak in Brazil. And her brother moved to Portugal a few years ago because Brazil, frankly, is just too violent and he couldn't take it anymore. So he and his wife moved to Portugal. And my ex-wife said, look, I want to take the kids to Portugal for a month this summer. And I said, well, I can't be gone from the kids for a full month. That's too much. And so the negotiation started, and we arranged to both go. And I was going to stay in a hotel near her brother, and they were not going to go for a full month. I would go for part of the time. She would keep them part of the time. At any rate, it happened. And we did both Lisbon and Sevilla, Spain last week. Man. And, you know, it was I would call it a healing experience. It's the first time, you know, we've ever done anything like this that represented sort of a family vacation, even though what was once a family unit is not the same. We are very different. My ex-wife has dated people. I've been married and divorced since then, and had another son from another woman since then. And so this was a somewhat strange experience, but very healing for the kids, especially, I think, and for me, frankly.
Is there something about being in the old world, especially being able to check out? For me, at least the journey I'm on in my life at this moment, I would love to visit some of the old cathedrals in particular.
There was no doubt about it. It was in particular, and I talk about this in the essay, is looking out over the cathedral with my kids, and just the astonishing fact that so many people were working on this cathedral for centuries before it was completed, that people that were laying different stones had no idea what the ultimate product was going to look like. And nevertheless, they labored away every day. And that fact sort of struck me as I was there with my children. And, you know, they miss their parents being together. They were not happy about their parents getting divorced. And it was really destructive to them, and yet they've managed to piece their lives together in something of a way that these people pieced the cathedral together. They didn't know what they were building. They didn't know what it was going to look like, but they were meticulous and they were tenacious, and they just kept laying stones on stones. And really, I was impressed by my own children's ability to create peace despite their parents and not because of their parents. And I think, as I say in the piece, I think divorce is definitely bad, but I also think that my kids have become stronger people because of it. And I would never wish that upon anyone. And I don't think that divorce is a good thing by any measure whatsoever. But my kids have done about as well as people can do in light of those circumstances.
Yeah, and there's number one. I want to say there's always I constantly battle with it when you do self-disclosure. What's the line? I think you did it quite beautifully and well. I think to say what's the line, divorce is a wound, is the correct way to put this. But I will say there is something about I'm trying to learn different languages. If I had been raised, kids in particular that are multilingual, they have a leg up. They understand the world and all the tricks of language more than anybody else in this place.
Oh, my son sent me a text message this week, and it said, I think I want to go to college over here. And I was like, well, the University of Lisbon is ranked like 230th in the world, and Auburn's at like 850th. So, that would be fine. He said, oh, no, yeah, the rankings are fine. It's about the girls. And I'm like, oh, gosh, here he goes. He's already, he's already. I think he was texting me after his day on the beach. So,
yeah, I couldn't. I can't deny. Let's just say I've been reading a lot in the Carmelite traditions.
Yes,
I look at the Spanish-speaking side, especially of the Catholic Church. And I'm like, man, I would love to find a beautiful, devout woman over in that part of the world. Though I'd have to learn the language, which with this Southern drawl and this Polish tongue, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off.
So, is it safe to say that your ascension to Furman is much different than his is going to be in his life?
Yeah, I guess so. But I loved watching my kids speak Portuguese, and
that's awesome.
And I got to use Portuguese for the first time in a long time.
It's a beautiful language.
It is a beautiful language. It's very different in Portugal than it is in Brazil. And I kept saying things that make no sense. Like if someone says, "Oi, tudo bem," and you say, "Oh, tudo jóia." Well, in Brazil, that means like, I'm really good. I'm as good as jewels. Like jewelry is like as good of a thing as there is. So I'm good at jewels. And in Portugal, that means nothing. And everyone's like, tudo jóia? What are you even saying to me? Good jewels? Get out of here. What are you talking about?
American. They go American.
Yeah. So, and my ex-wife would look at me and be like, I don't think that means anything over here. Like, why did I learn it? Like,
why did you teach me that?
At least some of the Southern idioms. We always had a coach who explained themselves. Like we always had a coach here in football would say, "This is precarious as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs." And I'm like, it explains itself. If you understand the words.
Yeah.
But some of that doesn't translate at the end of the day. Now I gotta pick your brain a little bit. Anything going on with the Heritage Foundation? Any of the latest people might need to know about?
Yeah, well, we're still dealing with some of the proposals. We've withdrawn half of the proposals we filed as shareholders of companies, and so we're still waiting on the outcomes of the other half. But we're getting close to filing season for next year. So basically, as soon as things wrap up, we're immediately jumping into next year. We've got all these filing deadlines over the summer, in fact. So we're preparing those shareholder proposals and getting ready to engage with different corporations. We had a great conversation with one firm, I guess that was 2 weeks ago because it was before I went to Portugal. And although the conversation was good, I suspect we're going to still end up filing a proposal there rather than talking our way through getting them to drop some of the things we want them to drop. But we'll see.
Well, and let me bring you in on some of the other stuff we covered on the show. Of course, I know you spent some time thinking about this war in Iran and this back and forth, and it's sort of the game of 2 more weeks, and we're now kicking off the month of June. How do you see how this is going?
Well, I'm not a foreign policy guy, so I don't want to speculate on what that's supposed to look like and what, how the outcome's going to be. But I will say that gas prices, energy prices are going to remain high as long as the conflict continues. We're going to see supply chain issues. We're going to see inflation. We'll get new CPI data here in a few days. We'll get a new jobs report by the end of the week. Gas prices did go down by 10% in May, which was a positive thing. But basically, it was just on news of the potential for resolution. And that's enough to keep market stable and to prevent to prevent costs from rising even more. I mean, it helps that we're a net energy exporter in the United States. We produce more oil and liquefied natural gas than anybody. So we're in a decent position. But even as gas prices climb for the consumer, that means it may be good for the energy sector, but it's not necessarily great for the rest of us who are having to pay for stuff at the gas pump. Now, fortunately, I think the national average is something like $4.30, and here in Alabama, it's more like $3.70 per gallon. So we don't have it as bad as some places like California. But this is something that we got to wrap up this conflict. We got to get the strait open. And only then are we going to see inflation stabilize and these gas prices come down.
Now, and at the beginning of the show, I kicked things off, and it was really a conversation with my grandfather. He's read thousands of science fiction books over his life. He used to keep a tally of it, and sort of has lost count now. And I asked him if he ever rereads any of them, like his favorite. He goes, "No, why would I do that? I already know the ending." And I kind of got him to think about, and in fact, it loaded up one of his favorites he's talked about for years. As I left the house, he was listening to it again on audiobook. So it's like, I don't know, to me, there are some stories that are so true they never die or they never get old. They're inexhaustible, obviously, scripture. But is there anything that comes to your mind, because I know you're a man of letters in many ways, stories, it could be from scripture, it could be in fiction or nonfiction, that you revisit it on a regular basis, or you feel a pull to revisit it?
Well, I wouldn't say I reread Les Mis all the time because it's a massive tome, but it's one of those stories that I do revisit. I used to read To Kill a Mockingbird every year, and I'd say about a decade ago I stopped reading it every year. I do read the Bible cover to cover every year. There is something called the Daily Bible, which LaGard Smith put together. He's a former law professor at Faulkner, actually.
Oh, wow.
And it's a chronological Bible. So he'll take, for example, let's just say the Gospels or, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, Chronicles, and he'll put it into chronological order so that they're synthesized. Each of the Gospels would be synthesized, or each of the books I just read to you or mentioned would be synthesized. And I find that to be really helpful because you get a more coherent story that way. And it's also interesting. Well, he'll take different Psalms from David and weave them in to make them match the place where you're at in the narrative, or, even with Proverbs, he'll try to mix some Proverbs in with whatever, is happening in Solomon's narrative. And anyway, I every year I get a deeper understanding of the biblical literature. And every year I consider myself even more ignorant than I was before. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't know that much.
Yeah, it's a good place to be, especially in relation to the Almighty. Well, I always appreciate your time, Alan. Even with the technical difficulties, we still made it work.
Sorry for all the technical difficulties. Difficulties, guys. Yeah.
But if folks want to check out your work, what you're working on, how can they do so?
Yeah, I guess my website's probably the best place to start, and it's just alanmendenhall.com. I won't do the www. part because you made fun of me last time.
It's okay. I know what that means.
Well, thank you, Alan.
Thanks, guys.
Talk to you soon. Thanks, man.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Again, Alan Mendenhall, folks. Great having him on the program as always. Like I said, even with the technical difficulties. Yeah, man.
We're all going on this journey.
Portugal, Spain.
Oh, that's great.
Like, that
Mallorca. Yeah, go to Mallorca. You like Mallorca.
You think so? No, you've been to a lot of these places.
I've been to Gibraltar. I've been to a lot of places. Yeah, and
so what his son's talking about wanting to go to school there.
Well, listen. Here's the deal. So I lived in Italy for a brief period of time when I was with my step Gray Fox, and I was in Naples, and it's just it's different, man. It's just the people are. There's less materialism. I think there's less grind. But there's trade-offs, like garbage man strikes,
Right.
and this garbage is piled up, right? And it's
Right.
like, yeah. But here's the other thing, Joey. Even though you're in these countries and you're going there, you become accustomed to certain conveniences that Americans take for granted, like clean water everywhere, like air conditioning that works, like
Yes.
ice in your drinks. I know it sounds trite.
No, but I've heard that from
but
many people.
You become comfortable in the way you like to live, and you got to change when you go abroad.
Let's go to a break real quick.
Sounds good.
Be right back after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
We know the businesses that keep our communities moving. We walk the same streets, shop the same stores, and support the same local families. Janney King franchise owners take pride in caring for the places they keep our hometown strong. With dependable service, attention to detail, and commitment to doing the things the right way, more businesses are choosing Janney King as their trusted local cleaning partner. Visit JanneyKingCleans.com today.
2026 marks 60 years that hope has had a home in Alabama. At the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches, children who've lost everything through no fault of their own have found something priceless. A safe place to live, a loving Christian family, and the chance to simply be kids again. Here, boys and girls grow up surrounded by care, guidance, and faith, learning right from wrong, learning responsibility, learning they are valued and that their lives have purpose. As the Alabama sheriffs have believed for 6 decades, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women. These former ranchers are now teachers, parents, business owners, and leaders, living proof that love, structure, and faith can change a life forever. As the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches celebrate 60 years of serving Alabama's children, you can help ensure the next child has the same chance. Learn how you can make a difference at alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. 60 years of building lives, and we're just getting started.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Folks, we have hit the halfway point of the show. Welcome back. So far, it's been, I think, a pretty good show.
Very good show.
And before I end, a big birthday shout out here at the halfway point to Marc Cumbie. our digital virtual producer, brother in Christ. Happy birthday, Mark. And I don't see him of all days. I don't see him on the stream. Maybe he's spending his birthday doing something. I don't know.
Well,
but happy birthday, buddy.
He's on that right.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Anyway, let's go to the phones and talk to Wetumpka Jeff. Hey, Wetumpka Jeff, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, y'all was talking about a while ago that we don't have the resources to hit Iran like we need to. You blame that on Biden. He gave it all to Ukraine.
Well, I think you're right to a degree, but I also think that this is systemically scalable to a greater degree after spending a lot of time in the military and in the government. I can tell you that our acquisition systems is not geared for this kind of fight. Even if you gave gear away and you're right about that to a degree, I would offer this, Jeff. Why have we've known about this threat for 20 years? What seems to be the problem? Why have we not dealt with it? It's because of big business and the interest of Lockheed Martin and companies like that want to keep control of the requisitions and the acquisition system. And this is systemically a bigger problem. Politically, yes, you're right, but I'm talking about principled. We've got to get our footprint to change. And we need to change quick, or we're going to find ourselves in a bad way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we don't have enough of anything really to fight anybody.
Well, think about it this way, Jeff. When we first fought that war in the first Persian Gulf War, in 91, and then we came back in 2003. I was there in 2003 in Iraq. I can tell you this. Nobody in their right mind would line up and go toe-to-toe with us in armor, infantry, aircraft. It just it obliterated what was it, Joey? I think the 5th largest standing army that Saddam Hussein had. We just decimated them in a matter of days. So everybody, including China and Russia, is like taking notes and going, yeah, that's not the way you're going to beat America. So they went an asymmetric way, more mobile, more agile, more hostile. So I think we're seeing we're reaping the lack of foresight and the lack of response to that. And now we're trying to fight a asymmetric war, Joey, with conventional methodologies, and it ain't going to work.
Yeah, I agree.
Good call.
I think what we all do is bomb them back into the Stone Age and be done with it.
Listen, we had it. Here's the thing. You're right, Jeff. That's probably the brightest comment made today. We don't need the smart. We got enough dumb bombs. Trust me, that are stockpiled everywhere. We could just carpet bomb if we wanted to. But yeah.
I mean, I thought we didn't negotiate with terrorists. I thought our policy, the United States policy, was not to negotiate with terrorists. But what are we doing? We're negotiating with terrorists.
Agreed, brother. Listen, you're spot on. You don't. Hey, there's no honor amongst thieves. Why would I trust anything? I can tell you this, and if you've listened to the show, you've heard me talk about this ad nauseum, that the Arab concept of honor is not the same as ours. When you make a deal with someone, I don't care if he's Iranian, I don't care if he's Egyptian, I don't care if he's Algerian, I don't care if he's Lebanese. It's inshallah.
Now, germane to this, we have some breaking since Iran said they broke off all talks. About an hour ago, the president put out, I had a very productive call with Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu of Israel, and there will be no troops going to Beirut, and any troops that are on their way have already been turned back. Likewise, through highly placed representatives, I had a very good call with Hezbollah, and they agreed that all shooting will stop, that Israel will not attack them, and they will not attack Israel. Then Trump put out 30 minutes ago, talks are continuing at a rapid pace with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So they're on again, they're off again, they're on again. We'll see. We'll see.
They're stall. It's a stall tactic.
Yep. It favors them. Trust me, it plays to their favor, doesn't it, Jeff? To the Iranians' favor.
It does, because while they're stalling us, they're planning something big.
You got it, brother.
And if the president's listening, he told us to sit back and relax. We are. I'm sitting back. I'm relaxing. This is a great day, but we're going to chirp a little bit too and wonder what's going to happen with this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he needs to go ahead and just bomb the daylights out of them, get it done, as what's his name, Larry the Cable Guy would say, get her done.
That's right, brother.
Well, I appreciate the call, Jeff.
All right,
thank you, man.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. So yeah, that just broke in the last hour, 30 minutes.
In
or so.
other news, the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor.
Right. No, and there is also, we have to keep in mind the media games that are being played.
There's a lot
right
of
now.
media. There is.
So Trump's point about the chirping, it's one thing, on a talk show to speculate, because that's what you do on a talk show. But when it's like these official news accounts that are coming out, we have breaking news. And for the life of me, especially with war, why is it that news people, of all people, think the news is always true? You have to operate that way in order to, sleep at night?
The worst thing that ever happened was in the first Gulf War when we put Geraldo Rivera with the First Infantry Division.
Who needs Kevlar when you have that amount of makeup on?
Goodness gracious, man. Yeah.
What happened with Geraldo?
No, we remember. Do you? How old are you in 90? How old were you in 91?
3. I was.
So you don't remember this.
Yeah.
So that first Gulf War was a big deal. The 5th largest army in the world versus us, and we were able to dismantle it.
Yeah.
That's the first war where we actually put civilian reporters. Ask Chuck DeCaro, my friend. He was there. We actually embedded with certain units. Geraldo, Wolf Blitzer, all these people that went out into the field and witnessed what was going on, and they're writing from there.
And the idea was, let's bring them in instead of like with Vietnam, where they were on the outside writing whatever they wanted.
Right. The thing with Vietnam was no civilians were ever attached to any military units. We had guys that were called MOPICs, motion picture guys, and they would document it and then share the media with the media, the videos. So this was a big deal, right? But it was a terrible idea. They focused on, there's 3 people that were killed here. Listen, I got news for you. I'm sorry, and my brothers and sisters out there that have fought understand what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
We're a volunteer force. We understand what's at risk. Every life is precious. I'm sorry for the ones we've lost. I've lost friends, brothers, and I'm telling you now, the media cannot. It's too squeamish. It can't understand that that's the outcome of war. If you lose 3, but you kill 300. That's a pretty good butcher's bill. And I hate saying that. That's why I tell you, victory has defeated us. It has made America weak, and we're going to have to get our nose bloody to figure this out. So,
well, we got to hit this break. First, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage.
Yeah.
Great folks over there. Yeah. They've helped out your family.
My son and daughter-in-law we were just over at their house. They're so happy with the service they got from there.
Yeah. So, folks, whether it's your first time trying to buy a place, buy a home, or your experience, but the past experiences were not enjoyable. You kind of felt like you weren't given the best possible deal and weren't serviced in the proper way, like actually helping you through the home buying process. No surprises on closing day, like you know what you're getting into. This is probably the biggest purchase you will make in your life.
For sure.
So you want to deal with great local folks you can trust who are going to get you the best possible deal and inform you, educate you if you need it on the process from pre-approval all the way to closing day. And by the way, do not skip pre-approval, or you're just setting yourself up for heartbreak and heartburn.
When they were dealing with their realtor, he recommended, let's go get pre-certified at there, and that may open so many doors for them. So, yeah.
And that way you can shop with confidence. Sellers will take you seriously, and you can actually get the process done and get that dream home of yours. Or it could be you're looking for a great refinance deal.
Yep.
If you're looking for a refi, Alabama Home Mortgage can help you out for whatever reason. Whatever your goals are, they will help you meet them. Could be you're looking to get debt off your back, reinvest in the property, your family.
Yep.
Or it could be you just, I want to buy that Winnebago.
And veterans need to get over there too.
Yes.
That's where the magic happens.
They specialize in the VA mortgage there at Alabama Home Mortgage. So veterans who have not taken advantage of this, whether a home purchase or a refinance deal, it's the best deal in town.
Yep.
And you earned this through your service.
Yeah, absolutely.
So take advantage of it. Kim and Madeline can help you today. That's Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon at Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223 if you just want to call them direct. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online. They'll get in touch with you soon after at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a prospector.
That's right, man. I'm prospecting for gold. You dig?
No, but it looks like you do.
And you know the first thing I'm going to do when I strike it rich?
What's that?
I'm going to hire David Ernest to be my money man.
You mean everyone's favorite asset preservationist?
That is correct, man. I'm going to call him up at 833-596-7233. 833-596-SAFE.
You know, I've heard a lot of good things about David Ernest.
You know, he's the best money man around with over 40 years of experience.
Experience is necessary, especially when you're digging for gold.
That's right, man.
And I can see that you don't have very much experience.
What do you mean, man?
Well, you have the little plastic bucket and shovel like a kid would take to the beach.
Yeah, man. Well, I want to start out small and kind of pace myself up until I strike it rich.
Well, maybe you should call David Ernest first.
You think he's got a shovel?
Never know till you ask.
I dig, man.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm Bill. You called about some breaker stripping?
Oh, yes, Bill. My brother-in-law says you can do almost anything.
That's me. Not much I hadn't seen.
Do you really want someone who does almost anything in your electric box? Think about that, because each year thousands of home fires are caused by faulty wiring. That's why you want a professional, like the electricians at Crosby Electric.
Bill, how's it going? Bill, ooh, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, well, I didn't really need my eyebrows anyway.
At Crosby Electric, all technicians undergo rigorous safety training, as well as background checks, drug testing, and continuing education.
Bill, you think maybe I should call a real electrician?
No, these little slip-ups happen. Everybody does it.
Really?
No, not really. When you need professional electric work, or you just like someone to assess your home for safety, call the experts at Crosby Electric, 272-2085, or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to June. Welcome to hurricane season. First day of meteorological summer. Cloudy early, then mostly sunny. Risk of some scattered spotty storms by the afternoon hours. And we'll be watching a cluster of storms into the evening hours tonight. High today up to about 89, low tonight down to about 70, then mostly sunny on Tuesday, high 88 to 90. Risk of isolated pop-up storms perhaps. But look for drier air Wednesday through Friday. Lots of sun, highs in the low 80s daytime and near 60 at night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Big dreams for your home on a tight budget? AFE's $26.26 as you covered. Unlock your home's equity with just $26 in closing costs. No fees, no headaches. Visit your local ASE branch today. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender. NMLS number 420259.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Let's get right to the phones. Voice I hadn't heard in a second, but let's talk to Joe. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
I'm fine. How's everybody?
Great.
Good, Joe.
Better than I deserve.
Yeah. I just wanted to recommend a book
Okay.
for you guys. It's called The Limit of Air Power.
Oh,
Written in written in 1980s, friend.
That friend is a close friend of my family. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Yes, you know, we didn't lose a battle in Vietnam, but we lost the war.
Yep.
And we had control of the skies.
Yep.
But it's a very interesting book, and it's very relevant to what's going on in the Middle East today.
I think I've got a copy he gave to me. I'll have to. My place is disheveled with construction going on, but I have to dust it off.
I'd like to see that. Yeah, that's a great. I would love to look at that and read it.
It's a very good publication.
I trust
think
that.
Claus sees at Duke Chapel Hill. I'm not sure right now, but a distinguished historian too.
Okay,
absolutely.
Be good, guys.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks.
272-9228. Yeah, like through my aunt and uncle. They're very good friends with the Clodfelter.
That's cool.
Yeah, very cool. Small world.
Small, brother. It's so small.
Yeah. Now, real quick, because I titled the stream, there's some folks saying this month is Pride Month.
No, it's not.
Then there's, I guess, Kay Ivey named it for Alabama, the state of Alabama, Strong Families Month. So I'm like, it's not a bad thing. We want strong families. Like pumping iron, taking the creatine supplement, your peptides and stuff. We want
you're slacking on your pull-ups.
Right.
Let's go.
More push-ups,
That's
son.
right. That's what you need.
I want a daughter with strong arms.
So,
no, actually, there are a lot of
what
rural girls. But
what month is it for you, Joey, and for many of Catholics and many Christians?
The celebration of the Sacred Heart of Jesus.
Right. That's right.
And so in 1673, because the tradition, like say I'm looking at the Carmelite religious order, talks about how they will find the tradition in the Gospels. Yep. They will find actually the very beginning of it is the Sacred Heart devotion starting in the quiet stillness of Mary's womb. But saying about 1673, it was during a time when the world had grown cold, had forgotten the tenderness and mercy of Christ's love. Jesus appeared to St. Margaret Mary on St. John's feast, then in 1673 in France. He revealed to her his heart burning with love for humanity. In the vision, Jesus asked her to spread devotion to his Sacred Heart and instructed her how the devotion should be practiced. The devotion, as we know it today, is largely based from Jesus' revelations to St. Margaret Mary. And here's just one quote of that. There are 12 promises, and you can just look it up if you're interested, folks, for the full thing. But behold the heart, which has so loved men, that it has spared nothing, even to exhausting and consuming itself, in order to testify its love, and in return I receive from the greater part only ingratitude, by their irreverence and sacrilege, and by the coldness and contempt they have for me in this sacrament of love. But what I feel most keenly is that it is hearts which are consecrated to me that treat me thus. Therefore I ask you that the Friday after the octave of Corpus Christi be set apart for a special feast to honor my heart. By communicating on that day and making reparation to it by a solemn act in order to make amends for the indignities which it has received during the time it has been exposed on the altars, I promise you that my heart shall expand itself to shed in abundance the influence of its divine love upon those who shall thus honor it and cause it to be honored. It's a reiteration of the very outpouring of love there on the cross, the very outpouring of becoming man incarnate, God and man. And I think it's a beautiful devotion, and there were several promises to those that follow it, and again, 12 of them. Yep. And if you want to look that up, if you're interested in all this, folks, it's all available online. And heck, people are always, shouldn't put it that way, heck, sorry to use a Southern colloquialism there, but people are always welcome to Mass too. Welcome to come have breakfast, so to speak. 272-9228. We'll be right back after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Lunch should be comforting and done right. At Epicure and Jack's Tavern, their meat and three is scratch made to order not scooped from a steam table. Real cooking, real portions. And for guests 60 and over, it's just $10.99. It's familiar food, elevated, served with care. Lunch at Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Classic Southern comfort, a step above the rest.
We get this question all the time.
Do you handle that?
Buying or selling a home?
Yes.
Commercial?
Yes.
Land or investments?
Absolutely. Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. One team.
Every real estate move. 334-322-0662.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico here in the studio with me. And let's bring in Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, the way you introduced Troy, it almost sounded like he was the one playing the guitar.
I felt like I was. But
you heard the mind, baby.
You got to hear me play piano, man.
Especially when it gets in his cups.
That's right.
It's not very accurate, but he plays with great expression.
By ear.
Oh, well, it's all about expression.
That's right, brother.
Fake it till you make it.
That's right.
There it is. Now, what's going on today there at Cohen's?
I tell you, you know, I was looking at some of the reviews that I respond to in the mornings, and we had one review from a lady that said that she was in customer service, and she knows what customer service is supposed to be. And my two delivery guys that delivered her new appliance, it hit all of the attributes of what great service was. And, you know, it makes you feel good when the delivery crew's doing what they're supposed to do. They're taking the extra steps. You know, there's nobody out there watching them do the install except for the customer. There's no management at Cohen's that's doing it. It's, you know, they're doing this all on their own, giving the customer the best experience that they can. And whether it's Kevin, whether it's Patrick, Alan, Sam, they're all striving to be A+, and it just makes you feel good when you see your people doing everything that they're supposed to do and giving that little extra.
Yeah, and along with, I mean, you also great products, and you're not going to be a beat on price, but the service folks, nobody gets close, especially service after sale, setting it up right as well, just getting things done. And this is why, y'all have lasted for almost 70 years now?
Well, that's right. But you know, when you talk about install, you know, I've seen a lot of stuff that competitors have done, and more of what I've seen has been on the electronic side. But you get good equipment and you don't hook it up right, and that even goes for your washer and dryer. It doesn't perform the way it should be, and the customer's not happy. And that's a big thing is to do it right the first time so that everybody's happy and they get what they're supposed to be getting from their units. You know, that's the whole key is you want everybody to get the most out of it.
Well, and there is something about it, you know, a big purchase, like a new fridge or a new washer dryer unit or a new TV, or I'm going to build a theater room. You want it to be the service to be up there with that big of an expense, if that makes any sense, folks. And they deliver all day, every day there at Cohen's.
Well, but you also don't want to buy the good stuff and then get to the end and somebody does a haphazard install and your washing machine's walking across the floor or any number of problems. All your burners aren't working on your stove. Right. Whatever it is that they should have done, which would have taken them an extra 2 minutes to do. You want to try to hit all of those points so that everybody has that A+ experience.
Here. Well, folks, you can always check them out online at thinkowens.com, but I really encourage you to stop by. That's 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery, open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And when you stop by, find Michael and be like, hey, I heard you on that radio show with Joey and Troy. No Eddie to be found that day.
Fast Eddie is fast. So, yeah, y'all come see us, bring us some questions, some pictures of what we're trying to upgrade, and, ask us questions, let us ask you some questions, and let us help you make the right choice for whatever your needs are.
Cool. Well, appreciate it, Michael, and we'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
See you, buddy.
Again, that's Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances, and we got a whole hour coming up.
Yeah, we do.
A whole hour.
It's going by pretty quick, though.
Yeah. I'm pretty relaxed today.
I'm glad. I come back from vacation. I just want to make sure that you were in a good place.
Yeah, no, life is, like I said, better than I deserve. I mean, you have good days, bad days, emotions mess with you, ups and downs of life. But I've learned if I stick to the routine, that life is pretty good and better than I deserve, as I often say.
And once we find you a girlfriend, which I'm going to start a program.
Don't
No, it's too late. It's already been created right now by Robin, as you talk.
No, you are.
I will bring you many, many, many suitors.
AKV matchmaking.
You will take it.
Yeah.
You will date her.
I don't know about that.
You will love him. Sorry, I would never do that to you, as far as you know.
But apparently there's more via CNBC.
What's going on?
We can get into the details after the top of the hour. Trump tells CNBC, I don't care if Iran negotiations are over.
Okay.
So, I don't know. We'll get into some of the background and color in the lines a little bit in order to see exactly what's being put out there by the president.
Yep.
And, a few other odds and ends, especially with the AI creepiness stuff. I think this is has to do with a Disney executive and AI claiming, or him claiming about the AI. It's like his son. It's just, no. Do not do that.
It is pretty creepy stuff, man.
And then, of course, could quantum computing be the new Y2K moment?
Oh, really?
You remember Y2K?
Yeah, sure I do.
Yeah, I vaguely remember.
Everything's going to fail. All of your business systems are gone. No, never happened.
Well, anyway, we got to hit this break. Final hour coming up.
From the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. President Trump says Israel and Hezbollah have agreed to dial back fighting after he held talks with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and communicated with the Lebanon terrorist group through mediators. Iran stops negotiations with the U.S. and vows to completely block the Strait of Hormuz. The price for a barrel of Brent crude rose more than 6%. The Muslim mayor of New York City, Democrat Socialist Zoran Mamdani, does not attend the Israeli Day Parade along Fifth Avenue in New York City. The New York City mayor was a no-show. The Cleveland Browns trading two-time AL Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett to the Rams in a blockbuster deal. The Browns will acquire pass rusher and linebacker Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round selection. This is SRN News.
Here's something nobody tells you about owning a home. While you were at work, your house was working too. Property values went up. You paid down principal. Your house quietly earned you tens of thousands of dollars, maybe a lot more, and never asked for a thing in return. The average American homeowner has built 6 figures in equity over the last few years. 6 figures. And most have never collected a penny of it. Fellowship Home Loans helps you collect. For over 20 years, Mike and Brian have shown families how to put that equity to work. A HELOC, a cash-out refi. Money for the renovation, the debt consolidation you need, or that project you've been putting off. Everything is done in-house. One roof, one team, all with a servant-led mentality. People who treat you like family. Your home already paid you. Go cash the check. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G or call 800-510-MIKE. 800-510-6453. 800-510-MIKE. Fellowship Home Loans. Mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to June. Welcome to hurricane season. First day of meteorological summer. Cloudy early, then mostly sunny. Risk of some scattered spotty storms by the afternoon hours, and we'll be watching a cluster of storms into the evening hours tonight. High today up to about 89, low tonight down to about 70, then mostly sunny on Tuesday, high 88 to 90. Risk of isolated pop-up storms perhaps, but look for drier air Wednesday through Friday. Lots of sun, highs in the low 80s daytime and near 60 at night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
1819 News.
A Republican who ran in the lieutenant governor primary race this past May has now chosen to endorse one of the candidates who's currently in the runoff race. Pat Bishop is now endorsing John Wall, who is up against Wes Allen in this runoff race. The runoff voting will take place on June 19th. Bishop says that Wall reflects the same values that he ran on in his campaign, and Bishop believes that Wall is the best candidate to lead the state. He says he will work on issues such as the education system, taking care of our military veterans, business growth, and addressing the problems within the Alabama Department of Corrections. Wall says he is honored to receive this endorsement from Bishop. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Did you know that 70% of people experience a potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day? Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness License Plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org.
There are 2 new U.S. attorneys working here in Alabama after being recently sworn into office. Phil Williams is the U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Alabama. He's a former state senator, military veteran, attorney, and host of Right Side Radio. Thomas Gavan is now heading up the Middle District of Alabama as the U.S. attorney. Gavan has been leading the Criminal Trials Division within the Alabama Attorney General's office, and before that, he worked as the assistant U.S. attorney in the very same office that he is now leading. 2 of 4 inmates who escaped the Correctional Prep Center in Perry County over the weekend have now been located by authorities. Johnny Bush Jr. was taken back into custody after he was found in a stolen vehicle in Selma. Jaden Maxwell turned himself into police on Sunday night. The search continues for Kevin Gunn and Marquavius Billingsley. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour of the program. Coming up, quantum computing will destroy everything just like Y2K did, right? Disney employees unsettled by executive's relationship with an AI chatbot. You are my son. Montgomery Office of Violence Prevention employees paid over $200,000. City councilwoman not living in the proper district. And, of course, Trump is responding to the on-again, off-again Iranian issues. But welcome back to the show. And I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico here in the studio with me. And to kick things off this hour, let's go to a recently released op-ed that you wrote while on a trip back home.
Yeah, I think we shared with you earlier. It was transformative in some ways. And the title that 1819 News selected for it was "Breaking Free from the Joe Sixpack Mentality," but I called it "For Good Men to Do Nothing." Is really how I wrote it. But that's okay. It's been edited for content. They know more than I do. I'm currently on sabbatical, returned to the old Ohio home, where this warrior was forged in the fires of discipline and duty. These images capture the very ground that molded me, and I sent a bunch of pictures in. So just, you've seen some of them I sent. I look out at the pictures, and these images capture the very ground that molded me. The farmstead, the fields that shaped them a life of resilience, now reminds me of a new calling. More on that later. Yet this trip offers more than nostalgia, Joey. It grants us a perspective on a truth too often ignored in our frantic national discourse. No matter where we travel, across geographic, demographic, economic, or even spiritual divides, there exists a silent majority, a legion of great Americans simply living their lives. They work the land. They drive the trucks. They ply the trades. They raise families and face mortality with quiet dignity. Most remain disengaged from the machinations of government and its sprawling organs. The silent majority embodies what I term the Joe Sixpack mentality. Joe is likely a farmer, a truck driver, a skilled tradesman, or a retiree who has earned his rest. My thesis is straightforward. These citizens are disincentivized from political involvement so long as their basic needs, as outlined by Maslow's hierarchy, are satisfied. A steady job, reliable vehicles, a home, food on the table. They exist, but do they truly live? Each day becomes a rinse and repeat cycle. Aware of government overreach, yet unwilling to demand accountability or take meaningful action. Our recent journey through Southwest Ohio revealed farmers still tilling the soil, steel mills still smelting in the heart of Middle America where Joe Sixpack resides. At the ground level, dissatisfaction brews against the legislators, judges, and the profiteering, petulant class that defines today's political representations. The frustrations are palatable, yet it simmers beneath the surface of daily survival. I've declared it repeatedly to anyone who would listen to me. Victory has defeated us. Our republic's ascendancy, its advanced society, and the comforts of politics and economics have rendered us soft. Prosperity, rather than stealing our resolve, has eroded the very virtues that built this nation. Consider what our founding fathers would utter if transported to our midst amid its myriad challenges, snares, and pitfalls. My suspicion is that they would immediately turn to the United States Constitution, that brilliant, timeless document, and demonstrate the precise methods to correct this malaise. The Constitution's power lies in its applicability across errors. Yet it has been soiled and spoiled by would-be do-gooders and never-do-wells who twist its meaning to serve their agendas. Victory has defeated us. We have grown soft, complicit in our own self-mutilations, trading vigilance for convenience and principle for comfort. The silent majority's disengagement is both symptomatic and is the root cause of this decay. Change is desperately needed. Thomas Jefferson wisely observed that the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. Abraham Lincoln, too, warned that if destruction be our lot, we ourselves must be its author and finisher. As a nation of free men, we will live forever or die by suicide. The silent majority must awaken. Joe Sixpack cannot remain content with mere existence, while the Republican he indirectly sustains crumbles around him under the weight of unchecked power and moral decay. Our forebears did not endure this hardship and forge a new order so that their descendants might slumber in apathy. These Ohio fields whisper a reminder of simpler times when connection to land and labor fostered strength of character. We must reclaim that spirit, not through violence, but through renewed civic engagement, rooted in constitutional fidelity. The power to restore our republic lies not in distant capitals, but in the hands of ordinary Americans, willing to reject softness, embrace the demanding call of liberty. Let us honor this legacy of our formative grounds by refusing the easy path of disengagement. The Constitution awaits our rediscovery. Its principles, unsullied by modern distortions, provide the map to renewal. We stand at a crossroads where complacency leads to suicide, but vigilance promises perpetuity. The choice, as always, rests with us, the people, particularly that vast silent majority now called to speak. The fields of Ohio, the mills of the Midwest, the farms that still feed a nation, all testify to the enduring strength of a common American. It is time they and we demand better for those who serve or fail to serve in our name. Victory has softened us, but defeat is not inevitable, Joey. Revival begins when the silent majority finds its voice and the Joe Sixpacks of this land remember their birthright as free citizens.
Amen. No, and I like that you did not end on a theory of decline. You ended on, no, we're
Hope.
American, dadgummit.
Yep. Let's
have hope. And
ratchet up.
It's great to see that you still find a lot of these folks. And I think it's in walks of life that don't neatly fit into a particular political box, that Joe Sixpack.
You're right.
I think there are a lot of people, for instance, who voted for Barack Obama twice, who have voted for Trump 3 times.
Right.
There's a lot of folks like that.
I ran into a guy, and if he's listening, I know he wrote me, he said he was going to try to listen, Mr. Carter, Patrick, working at the Liquor Barn, and I love the Liquor Barn in Kentucky. It's got the best bourbons. Joey, you give an hour, you spend 4 hours there. You can't, and they got a tasting center.
Beers almost took me down last night, so I'm a lightweight these days.
You would love the selection they got there. It's a Toys R Us for adults. Anyways, he tells me he used to be he used to go to Western Kentucky University. He was a Democrat. He voted Democrat, but he's had a change of heart. He's now a Republican because he believes in conservative values. And I think to myself, there are people everywhere that are transforming right now. But I don't know, Joey. I had it laid upon my heart heavy, and I called you after I wrote it. Called into the show to check on you guys, and it just. It's so clear to me that I have been missing the obvious, which is right in front of me. And there's an element to this I'm going to piggyback off of, like you have, on the spirituality of it, that there is a transformation going on right now in our youth.
Amen. Yeah, and there will always be the sufferings and the hardships and the trials. I think the trick is when you start to thank God even for those, because it gives you the opportunity to rise and be better.
Amen, brother. And for everything that happens in this world, it all goes to the good of God. Mm-hmm. But we have to help do our part. And I think you have given a lot of people some reflection on not rediscovering, but recommitting yourself to your faith. So.
Now, you reminded me of something I put out there at 1819 in 2022. I want to update this for 2022, but start here.
Okay.
The American heart has always quivered fast and slow with fear and vaunting. Like, well, we know the latest threat, and then vaunting like we're the greatest ever, and then beat our chests like nobody can touch us. Worry and woe, war, plague, pestilence, struggle, strife, and sin. Many have predicted its demise. But somehow the American heart still beats strong despite the well-worn changes to our nation's home. It may be the arrhythmia that afflicts the American heart in 2022. I suspect it still afflicts us a bit in 2026. Is indeed some kind of telltale before our final death knell. No trust, no love, a nothing, no nothing news, and an even cheaper dime. It just doesn't go as far anymore. Have you seen gas prices? Isn't a recipe anyone wishes to stomach. Nearly everyone agrees we're on the wrong track. Shouldn't we all just go ahead and flip the tilted tables and call the game rigged? So think of it on both sides here. Haven't the institutional pathologies of racism, sexism, homophobia, inequality, and the rest of America's many bloody conquests made us all irredeemably guilty? Isn't it time for a fundamental transformation? Can't you see how greedy capitalists have ravaged the planet and destroyed that delicate balance between ourselves and Mother Nature? Haven't you heard the rich are getting richer, the poor poorer, and the male-dominated capitalist white supremacy has its knee on your neck? Have you already forgotten George Floyd? Don't you know 1619 is our nation's true founding upon the bedrock of slavery? Don't you agree it's time to tear down the statues of our evil forefathers and replace them with better men? Don't you understand that the atavistic, reactionary right must always be treated as the hungry wild wolf crouching at your door, past, present, and future? And speaking of the right, even they say this great American nation, like many great nations of the past, is caught up in an inevitable cycle of degradation, demoralization, and decline due to the unbridled decadence of its citizens and globalist elite. This is why, by the way, I like that you didn't give in to this, but it definitely exists on the right. Capitalism and liberal democracy have unmoored us from our traditions and spared us our religion. They are quick to say, don't you recognize your forefathers were better men than you in every way? Don't you remember that weak men create hard times? What was it about men without chests, that old C.S. Lewis line? Yeah. Have you already forgotten what Edward Gibbon wrote about Rome's fall or what the Roman Polybius himself foresaw? Can't you see there's a hole in the soul of the West, especially America? So the point is, there's a lot of pessimists on the left and the right who, for very different reasons, predicted, are predicting, and some actively cheering America's decline and demise. And they're not completely wrong in their critiques. That's why they sting. Bad news is America's institutions are indeed failing many Americans today, as you just laid out, Troy. But these prophets of doom aren't fully right either. Good news is this is all nothing new. Neither the predictions of decline nor the failing institutions. We've been here before, only to adapt and overcome. This is Arthur Herman. Regardless of the country, regardless of the era, and regardless of political persuasion, writes Arthur Herman in his book, The Idea of Decline in Western History, all these authors have shared the same prophetic vision. The capitalist bourgeoisie civilization of their day, whether in 1846, 1886, 1946, or 1996, is doomed to self-destruction. Well, the best news is that from 1846 to 2022, well, now 2026, these predictions of decline and self-destruction have missed the mark. From eco-pessimist fears of climate disaster to cultural pessimism's obsession with identity politics to the many conservative theories of decadence, the United States has survived for now. But why? Because the American heart was originally forged and has been recast time and time again in the fire and ice of conflict and reconciliation, each time to uphold American life and liberty so that men may be free to make their own mark on history's march. The American heart does not play victim to history, but instead holds an enduring faith in a free people's capacity to master history, to brave and tame the unknown. Despite the sound and fury of our politics, despite our warranted distrust of our institutions, such things can be remade in the light of our best traditions and qualities, especially our belief in God Almighty. I just added that by the passage of time. So, I was thinking about that in 2022. I still think a lot of that applies to today.
I did too.
But there is something about when you look at our history and all the potential decline and all the potential fall off and a lot of the trials and the strife,
that's right.
If we instead thank God for that and get back to, well, the Joe Sixpack.
That's right.
To the farmer, to the steel worker.
Average dude down the street.
As you were just laying out, and I would say the soldier, maybe even the enlisted man who doesn't get a lot of the credit, and some of the officers.
No, they listen. You know
what about the academics though at the Air War College?
Definitely not. Listen, one of the funny things you appreciate this is if you call someone sir, that's an NCO or senior NCO in the Army, they'll usually go, "I work for a living." Don't say that. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. No, and I think for all the folks that are, well, heck, and work much more serious than what I do, or folks that do media like I do, like we're not at the end of the day the folks that are really making this world work. In particular, not to make it too gendered, but there are a lot of men who are still in thankless positions. And for all the advances, like more women have college degrees, more women are becoming doctors and lawyers and all these things. For all the so-called equitable advances, when you look at certain trades, it's male-dominated. Why? Because they're risky. Because they're dangerous.
You're right.
They're hard work, too. Like, physically. Very difficult work. Like, it tests a man. And I think sometimes those folks are forgotten.
They are. You know, Joey, it's like in the military. For the hero that you see flying the plane or the infantryman that kicks in the door, there's dozens and dozens of people behind that making that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we're all part of a machine.
And to broaden this out, to not make it a partisan point,
yeah.
I think, and I've been waiting on this, who is going to come in and wreck the Democrat Party the way Trump wrecked the GOP? I use wrecked, I suppose, in like a wrecking ball, like
Sure.
a proper demolition needed to be done.
Deconstruction, yeah.
And I think there is so much, not to give them advice, there is so much the Democratic Party could do if somebody comes in with a wrecking ball that takes up this mantle of American renewal and does it in a way that isn't, somebody is going to strive for that, you know, red versus blue.
Yep.
Somebody's going to strive for that purple mantle.
Amen.
That mixes red, white, and blue.
Moderate. Yeah.
And not just in a moderate sense, but in the sense of America's best tradition. And there's because history is so long and complicated and often gnarly, it's who tells the best story. I think you look at the bench of the Republican Party, Vance is going to be very good at that. Rubio is going to be very good at telling a story like that. You got to wonder, will the Democrats go with AOC? Will they go with Gavin Newsom? Will they go with all these names we know? Or will somebody come out of the woodwork and surprise people? Say a Democrat who maybe voted for Trump in 2024.
Possibly.
Like, you know, I think it won't be Joe Rogan, literally. But I look at that sort of person that has been liberal most of their life. They're like that 90s liberal. You don't want to say it's like a full-on comedian, live and let live guy, because it's not the right personality. But I think there are definitely folks who have always thought of themselves as on the left and now feel a bit homeless, found a little bit of a home with Trump, but they still think they could do their own thing. There is a huge lane there. Now it's a matter of money and organization, and there's this built-in, like the traditional Democratic, say corporate Democrats, the stranglehold they've had. Now it's what Trump and Elon broke with X and so many other things, but it's very hard to fight within that system. Think back on the last few primary cycles where, and he didn't really fight that hard, but Bernie Sanders taking on Hillary Clinton didn't go very well for him.
I did not.
And even with Barack Obama beating Clinton in the Clinton machine, he, despite all the beautiful rhetoric of the 2008 campaign, and it was very hopeful, beautiful rhetoric, he fell right into the same old game. So you got to wonder, is there somebody who has the money, has the means of organizing, that can use the newer technologies, work around the traditional system, and remake the Democrats? I don't know. I'm not betting on it. I just think it's a huge open lane for him.
I agree, and I think, but I still point back to the fracturing and the splintering that's been going on with the progressives, and it's really, it's driven some of the would-be probably leaders from not wanting to be part of that, because it would be chaos if you had to lead that gaggle of cats.
Well, and then you look at some of the folks they put up, like this cat in
Planter.
Not well, that guy.
He's he's right. You know, they got him in a picture with the Ranger.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, get that shirt off of him right now.
Planter and James Tallarico in Texas. And you're like, what in the world are y'all throwing down?
Well, I guess everybody's got their versions of Marjorie Taylor.
Honestly, and again, not to give them advice, because there's stuff that I hear Ossoff and Warnock say that it makes me like the senators from Georgia, makes me like roll my eyes. But I will say their rhetoric, their style, not to pat ourselves here in the South too much on the back, but I think if you had a Southern Democrat who leans into conservative traditions and yet does sort of the pitch for, we want to be more generous with our welfare and all this, and then, but beyond the policies, uses sort of the language of the South. It's almost like, how did Carter get her? And initially people wanted that humble thing, and who knows what mood the American people will be in after a decade of Trump. Like, it could be that there is a lane for a certain tone that's very different than the one that's dominant right now. Who knows?
Don't we have Katie Britt? Sorry, Katie.
Well, depends. Will she end up somebody's vice president?
Possibly. Who knows?
I mean, that's a whole.
She's motivated for sure.
Oh yeah, New York Times profile.
I know. I saw that. Right. She's still a Dixiecrat. She worked for Richard Shelby. She's got that potential conservative. You know, she can cross things over.
No, I like Katie.
I love
But
Katie.
yeah, she's definitely.
She's ours. Yeah.
It's like I kind of am rooting for the dynamic we had with Shelby and Sessions for a long time.
That would be great.
And I'll let y'all read in between the lines in the Senate runoff on who needs to win in order to keep that dynamic going.
Yeah.
But both good men. I'm not going to be upset whoever wins that race. But if I had my preference, I would go with a certain someone who's got the Trump endorsement. Anyway, 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Before we hit this break, 1819, Caleb Taylor over there has been doing some great, like truly investigative stuff.
I saw him.
Investigative report.
I saw him the other day, about 2 weeks ago. Did you see him? He was on OAN talking about the redistricting. I was like, look at you in a suit. You're looking pretty good.
He's a smart man.
He's from Arkansas.
And he's also, like, you'll notice some of the smartest people in the room, if it's like a party or something, they're quiet.
Always quiet.
Right.
And it's like my son. He
This is
doesn't.
like me. I'm a wallflower.
I know. But you got a lot to say. You got a lot to say. The thing is, when people are like that, when they talk, you better listen. Because if they don't talk a lot, they've got something important to say.
He's a silent assassin.
He is.
But here's one story. Montgomery City Councilwoman Marche Johnson, which, I think Marche is wonderful to talk to, but
sure.
Marche Johnson appears not to live in the district she represents.
Well,
according to Montgomery County property records, Johnson resides in a house off Donigle Park, and I don't know that park.
What's it called?
Donigle.
Dongle?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, it depends. It's like Target or Target.
Is it from Latin? Donigale.
That's right.
Like, no, I don't think.
Donigale. Where's it at? Look it up.
I'd look it up.
I'll look it up. Go on. Keep going.
According to the city's online council district finder, the home is located in City Council District 7, which I think that's Sismansky, right?
Yeah, it should be.
Not District 3, which Johnson has been elected to represent since 2021. Johnson purchased the home in June 2024 for $359,900 with a VA loan, despite having been elected to represent District 3 since 2021. She also has a property tax exemption listed on the home, which would indicate the home is her primary residence. By statute, members of the Montgomery City Council are required to live in the district they represent. If they don't, they could be subject to being removed from office or investigated by the Alabama Ethics Commission. According to city ordinance, members of the Montgomery City Council shall have been residents of the district which they represent for at least 6 months prior to their election and shall reside in the district during their terms of office. If the councilman shall cease to possess any of these qualifications or shall be convicted of crime involving moral turpitude, his office shall immediately become vacant. Interesting.
Birmingham, right outside of Birmingham.
Right outside. Wait, no, there's no way. This is a Montgomery person.
Okay, well then there's another one there. Okay, I will say this. Here, stand by. Here's the other one you have. It spelled again?
Donigle, I think.
Ah, okay. It came up with Donagle. Okay, here. Right, yeah. There is a place in Montgomery. I saw Doni.
I used to work for Parks and Rec. We were around
I
all
know,
the
yeah.
parks.
Well, maybe it might be park in not a true park sense, but in an area, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking. All right, keep going.
Another story by Caleb Taylor.
Yeah.
The city of Montgomery has paid $220,143.04.
Okay.
A little over $220,000 in overtime to employees of the Office of Violence Prevention since 2022.
Well, why?
Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed launched the Office of Violence Prevention in December 2021. According to city financial records, Keith Moore, former violence prevention director, was paid approximately $41,000 in overtime since 2022.
Wow.
His annual salary, not including overtime, was $78,500.
So he's on his salary and he's collecting overtime.
So his salary $78,000. He was paid approximately 41 grand in overtime. He's no longer employed by the Office of Violence Prevention. The largest recipient of overtime pay in the office was Rochelle Tyus, Violence Prevention Community Liaison. She has received $176,000, a little over 176 grand in overtime pay since 2022. In 2024 alone, Rochelle received a salary of $57,763.16 and overtime pay of $64,125.15. Her overtime pay was more than her salary, which would amount to about 70 hours worked per week on average. According to the City of Montgomery's website, the Office of Violence Prevention offers a comprehensive approach to community safety challenges, including all programs and collaborative efforts within the community. The department, quote, works to reduce the risk of violence through linked strategies and partnership with government, nonprofit, neighborhood, and faith organizations by utilizing data-driven programs to address community needs and implement violence intervention. The Violence Prevention Director reports directly to the Mayor's Chief of Staff. Despite the creation of the Office of Violence Prevention, the city has still struggled with its high rates of violence in recent years. A bill to require setting minimum staffing standards for law enforcement in Montgomery didn't pass in the 2026 legislative session, partially due to lobbying by Mayor Reed and other Montgomery city officials.
So Donegal Park is located off of Vaughn Road, right before East Chase Boulevard. There's a little quadrant right there. So Vaughn and East Chase, where there's a couple of
Taylor
houses
and
up
Vaughn.
there. Yeah.
Good area.
Past Taylor.
Good area.
Yeah.
No, it sounds like it's probably a nice house.
Yeah, it looks like it would be. Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate.
So did
That's
you see about the South? Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're on salary, sorry, you don't get overtime. That's why people get sideways about being on a salary, Joey, because they're usually not given over because they're not on hourly. That's an interesting quandary if they say salary instead of just pay rate. I don't know. This is the city of Montgomery. I don't expect much out of them.
Yeah, well, but good stuff by Caleb Taylor,
That's
like I
great.
said,
Great.
digging in deep. And then he's got another one that's the top story. He's been digging into records.
Good.
An Alabama Democratic Conference building, ADC building in Montgomery, will be for sale by the county on Wednesday due to unpaid property taxes.
Nice.
The ADC's property at 14 South Decatur Street is on a list of properties in Montgomery County for sale due to delinquent taxes. The property value is at a little over 126 grand. According to Montgomery County Revenue Commissioner Janet Buskey, the Montgomery County tax sale will be held Wednesday in the Montgomery County Commission Chambers of Courthouse Annex 3, located at 101 South Lawrence Street, between the hours of 10 and 4 p.m. According to online county property tax records, the ADC didn't make a property tax payment for 2025. Of course, the ADC is led by Joe Reed and Randy Kelly. Kelly didn't respond to a request for comment from 1819 News on Monday. Good job, Caleb. Keep digging.
Keep going.
Keep digging. Anyway, we got to hit this break. We'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. 5 reasons to get a home inspection before you close on a home. Homeowners buying their first home or their 10th home still need a home inspection performed. First, you will find out firsthand the true condition of the home, the age and state of the heating and air, the roof, electrical, and plumbing as of the date of inspection. Second, it may give you the ability to renegotiate repairs that the seller will end up paying for before closing. Third, if the results show that the repairs would be too costly, then you can opt out of the contract without losing your earnest money. Fourth, the age and state of the systems will indicate what shape the rest of the house might be in and give you the option to opt out of the transaction or renegotiate terms. Fifth, knowing what needs to be done to the house will allow you the opportunity to update the home properly to your taste. For a list of the best home inspectors in the area, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 334-221-2883 or 551-0225. The Goodson Group.
Trust is the number one reason why a patient chooses a healthcare provider. Adams Drugs has been your trusted healthcare provider since 1962 and has been voted the number one pharmacy in the River region for many years. We strive each and every day to provide you the level of health care you have come to expect from Adams Drugs. The employees at Adams Drugs take pride in developing relationships with their patients, from making sure your prescriptions are filled correctly to getting to know you and your family's needs and following up on any questions you may have. Adams Drugs employees deliver top-notch service. We ask you to visit us at any of our locations in Montgomery, Prattville, Wetumpka, Millbrook, and Pine Level Marbury and give us a chance to earn your business. You can find us at adamsdrugs.net for the location that is nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a political activist.
That's right, man.
And could you please explain to us your red cap with the letters MMRGA?
Yeah, man, this is my MARGA hat.
MARGA?
Yeah, man, that stands for Make My Retirement Great Again.
I see.
And to do that, what you need to do is call David Ernest,
the asset preservationist.
That's right, man. You can call David at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
And I understand that's a toll-free number.
Yeah, man. Get David Ernest on the case, and your retirement will be great again.
And you make these hats?
I do. Here's a whole pile left from the last administration.
And they say CPWABD.
Yeah, man. Corn Pop was a bad dude.
And as you said, there's a whole pile here.
Well, there wasn't much demand.
I can dig it.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this, listen close, you get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Well, hi, everybody. This is Rich Thomas. A little weather drama in the area for a few hours as a complex of strong storms moves through the area with damage wind gusts the main threat, and there will be numerous warnings, I think. Our weather app will keep you on top of the action with instant push notifications. It's free in the App Store. Just search Rich Thomas Weather. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. On the bass, we have Troy Carrico slapping the bass.
I got a Fender Jaguar.
Wow,
I used to play bass.
You did?
Yeah, I was in a band.
Was pretty like driving?
Dashboard Saints. We were like
Dashboard Saints.
Yeah, we were in Oxford, Mississippi when I was a grad student.
You still got some tracks?
We played. Listen, we were on a small label called I'll bring some in. Earache Records out of Austin, Texas. It's a true story. My mom could not stand it.
I didn't know this.
I had long hair when I was a grad student. It was great, man.
Let's go to Paul. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Hello, Joey. Hello, Troy.
Hello.
Troy.
Yes, sir.
I'm kind of like you on that about how in the world does somebody on salary get paid OT.
I don't get it, man.
If you're on salary, you're not eligible for OT.
Unless
you have to be.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, you have to be being paid on the hour to be eligible.
That's right.
for
That's
OT.
right. But there is a way you can get paid. Let's be honest. Overtime, if you're on salary, you got to do a class action lawsuit and sue them and say that you're really doing hourly work. The truth of the matter is, you and I both know. You and I both know that overtime. Maybe they'll say it's bonuses, Joey. I don't know, but that doesn't sound right, does it, Paul?
It absolutely does not. And like I was telling Joey, most of the time, overtime is your regular salary, and then whatever is overtime, your salary half, and then you're getting paid salary and half.
That's right. That's right.
So if they're being paid bi-weekly or monthly, you have to go back and break down the actual hours that they worked, subtract what they have for the total hours, or I don't know what their regular time would be,
right?
And then what's left would be classified as OT if you're eligible for overtime pay. But in all reality, that was a secondary thing, what I was calling about. I was just wondering, Joe, this is a question I wanted to throw at you and Troy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Mr. Trump come up and say, the next election, whoever's going to run for president, he skip a term and then run with whoever on the Republican side as vice president. Is that even possible or feasible?
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I know he would not want to be in the back seat, but they would already know that I'm taking the back seat for the public eye, but I'm going to be in the front seat.
I mean, you could come up with some wild stuff where he like appoints himself to the Supreme Court.
Why not?
Or he becomes Speaker of the House for a time, like elect him Speaker. Yeah, no, I think he's going to hang it up after this. I mean, he'll definitely still have some sway even after he's president, and how he's got the attention of so much of the voter base. But I think a lot of the Trump 20, 28, 20, 32, all this stuff is him just trolling and having fun with it.
I think it does.
Well, it was just a thought, something I had never asked anybody and have never done any background on. So, hey, you don't know unless you ask.
That's right. You know what the dumbest question in the world is? The one not asked, they said. But I've been in some classes in the Army where they shouldn't have asked that question. It's like,
mouth, young man.
That's what they say. Right.
Yeah, there's some things that are just better.
You're right. You know what I'm talking about.
And wait till you get somebody off to the side.
Yep.
That's kind of partial to you.
You're a very wise
Hey,
man.
look,
You're very wise man.
I wasn't sure about what he was bringing up. Can I ask you a question one-on-one?
You're a wise man. You're a wise man. It sounds like you managed something because you were talking about salary. Joey, you worked for a living. I could tell, really.
Troy, I have been working since I was 8 years old.
That's
Me
what
and
I'm
my
talking
brothers.
Man.
And we grew up in the era before they started slapping that stuff around about, children shouldn't be able to have to work until they're. No, you teach them when they're young, and then they value what a dollar is.
So
you ain't got to get out there and slave them.
So I love your story. I'm going to tell you why. I just came back from Ohio. I grew up on a farmland up there, and I swore I'd never farm. And now I find myself repeating my past life. But the thing I wanted to say is, at 8 years old, I want to compare notes with you. I want to hear what your job was. At 8 years old, I was detasseling corn for 25 cents an hour for Amish people up in Ohio. And I thought, 25 cents an hour. My arms were so tore up, Paul. They were so ate up. It was a terrible thing. But what did you do at 8 years old for a job?
I was carrying shingles for a crew of 8.
Daggone.
That's hard work, man.
I started out, I could not pick up a whole bundle. I started out breaking the paper open.
Yep.
And putting as many as I could on my shoulder. And
that's awesome.
Boy, my skin got rough quick, fast, and it hurt.
I believe
Just
it.
like me.
Yeah, that's real rough.
I love it.
My hand, You remember, Joy? I used to pick at you and Eddie about tiles and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Been there, done that.
I can tell.
Oh yeah.
And what they used to call slate roofing.
Yep.
Oh God,
That's
I hope I never see another slate shingle.
That's tough, ain't it? I've heard it's really tough. That and that the pipe, the ceramic. I mean, not ceramic, but the terracotta piping. Yeah, it's beautiful, but it's hard work. Yeah.
No, we just had a new roof put on the house, and it brought back bad memories of doing construction cleanup on that very house and moving shingles around. I'm like, no.
Nails everywhere. Oh boy.
Later, guys.
Thank you, man.
See you, Paul. Let's go to Clark. Hey, Clark, how you doing?
Hey, gentlemen, I'm all good. So, called in about Trump and the anti-weaponization fund, but you triggered me on a joke. 3 boys having an argument, bragging on their dads. The one boy said, you know, my dad was a Marine. He's faster than either one of your dads. Really, what can he do? Well, he can run 3 miles in 18 minutes. And the other boy said, you know, that's fast, but my dad played football, and he can run a 40 in 4.2 seconds. And the first boy said, that's pretty fast. That is. And the third boy said, well, your dads are both fast, but my dad's faster than either one of them. Well, what can your dad do? Well, my dad's on salary with the city, and they get off at 5 every day, but every day he's home by 4:15.
That's funny.
So
that's funny.
There you are with that. Now, I saw where Mike Pence raised his ugly head this weekend and had comments on the anti-weaponization thing.
Yeah.
Now, is there anybody in America, or no, is there anybody in the world that doesn't know that 2020 was stolen at this point? Granted, there are people that won't admit it, but is there anybody that doesn't know it?
I'm sure there are a few who are probably blissfully out in nature and aware of nothing.
I think everybody knows it was stolen. So let's do this. At least on the right, from now on, when we refer to the people prosecuted for J6, they are no longer insurrectionists. They are J6 correctionists. Because they were absolutely correct. It was stolen. Now, anybody that won't admit it was stolen, let's call them a theft denier. There you go.
Agreed.
We'll just flip that around. And, you know, I think the president's absolutely right. The people that were targeted, because the whole purpose of that was, as an aside, to give them an excuse to try some kind of out-of-office impeachment with him. But the main thing was to send a message to us that you better not protest any more abominations we might commit, or we'll come after you like this. And I do think those people need to be made whole, but I think it needs to be done in such a way that it disincentivizes the behavior in the future. How about, well, I don't know, Nancy Pelosi, Liz Cheney, Jack Smith, anybody involved, FBI agents that served warrants on grandmothers at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but I was only following the orders. It's not a good excuse.
Nope.
Take everything they have and put it in the fund. And then whatever difference there is, you can talk about taxpayers making up that difference. But I think the behavior's got to be disincentivized.
Or punished.
Well, that's exactly. I can't think of a better way to do it than, you know, okay, y'all went after these people. Everything you got's going in the pot right here.
You know what? You're going to laugh when I say this, Clark. And Joey, you'll probably roll your eyes, but I was talking to a friend. What's wrong with tar and feathering? I mean, seriously, tar and feathering and throwing them out in public. People like that, that's what they used to do. And listen,
That
it's
is
hard
the
to get.
right idea. I think the guillotine is more efficient, but the axe has a more personal touch.
But this is true. There's something more satisfying when you have your hand on the weapon. You can feel the crunch or the destruction it wields.
I was for years ago suggesting public paddle-ins, but I think a lot of those freaks up in D.C. would enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm with you guys. Hey, listen, this is you have to make their punishment must be more severe, as Bane said to Batman.
Well, I appreciate it, Clark.
Take care.
Bye. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think the best punishment is winning. I said in December of 2020, they stole it fair and square.
Yeah, I know you did.
Steal it back.
I think it was obvious.
Like, but I don't know.
People say
it was like they were, you just got to play the game better than them. And look, and things got a lot better in 2024.
Well, it's true.
Anyway, we got to hit a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Tired of spending your weekends fighting weeds, patchy grass, and a mower that never starts? Mosley Lawn Pros is the solution. They handle residential and commercial lawn maintenance, landscaping, cleanups, and property care, so you don't have to. They show up on time, do the job right, and leave your lawn looking sharp every time. Stop stressing over your yard and start loving it. When it comes to your lawn, call the crew your neighbors and local businesses trust. One call, one crew, problem solved. Mosley Lawn Pros, built on hard work, driven by quality. Find them today on Facebook or Google.
Hey, this is Lyle from Margaret's Swinson Jewelry, and I do my radio advertising on Blue Water. I'll tell you what, I use most of the stations, and I've been using it for so long. It's hard to tell with the money you spend on advertising if it does any good. When they come in and say, I heard you on the radio, I know it's Blue Water, and I love Blue Water.
Our advertisers are our biggest advocates. Call us to find out how radio can increase your bottom line. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks, helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The premier place the river region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones. And let's talk to Joel. He's got a quick correction insight on the overtime pay for city folks. What's up?
Yeah, what I was saying is all the government has got salary ranges that like police, firemen, state troopers, correctional officers. If they work overtime, they get paid overtime above that salary.
Yeah, I think you're right, because like I said, the other way you can do it is you can file a class action lawsuit, reconfigure your pay rate with salary and that. But I'm not sure that applies to most administrators and office people. And now, field workers like firemen, like policemen, like aviators that are state employees, I would agree. I have a feeling, though, when they advertise these jobs, if we went and looked at the director of, what was it, the Office of what was
Violence
it?
Prevention.
Violence Prevention. I guarantee it says salary $170,000 or commensurable with your experience. I bet there's probably not a provision in there for that, but you're right. You're absolutely right. And that's what I meant by saying you could sue to get that entitlement.
Hey, and that's what I was telling you. It seems what the city has done with that woman.
Yep.
Yeah, the numbers don't work out. That much overtime is a little crazy. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks, Joel. Let's go to Ray Bowles of Prattville Carpet. Hey, how you doing?
Good. How about you guys?
Good, Ray.
It's been a good conversation this afternoon. I got to listen here and there as I bounce in and out of my car.
Oh, yeah.
And for everybody at church, and everybody knows Mom had surgery today. She's out. It's all good.
Good.
God bless.
It happens. One down, one to go. And then I said, you got to run the marathon. She'll have 2 new hips. Why not?
Now she'll get around really good.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You're not going to have to watch her more.
Yeah, exactly. Dad's in trouble. He can't run from her anymore.
But
So
hey, Ray, isn't it a blessing? You still got your mom and dad. Isn't that what a blessing every day? Every day.
It really is. It is. And, Dad's going to be 80 this year. I pick at him all the time and tell him he's 83, but he's actually turning 80 in October. And I think his biggest blessing, he still can work. He has a place to come.
It's amazing.
He gets to work. When he gets tired or aggravated, he can get up and walk out the door. Nobody says a word to him.
There you go.
He's earned that right, ain't he?
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. But listen, if y'all need a floor, call us at 285-8117. We got a whole bunch of good deals going on. If you need a bathroom redone, we could do that for you. Kitchen remodel, whatever it may be, call us at 285-8117. We'll come back and give you that free measurement.
Again, that's 285-8117, and be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles on the radio with Joey and Troy. And we got to do another stories with Ron. That was great last week.
Yeah, he's a good. We both. That's the beauty of being dyslexic and not being able to read. We are really good at telling stories.
I loved it, and I know you got a bunch of them.
Yeah, the girls have always said we need to write a book about all your stories that you used to tell us when we were kids. Because instead of reading books to them, I just go in there and tell them stories at night. Because it would take me. I could do it so much faster than trying to read Mr. Whatever it is, Cat in the Hat.
Dr. Seuss?
Yeah, awful. Yeah, Dr. Seuss, yeah. Just let me tell you a story. They love them, and it makes it's fun telling good stories. People don't know how to tell stories anymore.
You're right, they're not.
It's getting to be a lost art.
Yeah, some kids got Shel Silverstein, other kids got Owl Stamp stories.
Exactly. And some of the stories I told them, like the little girl with the pink dress and she died at the end, it was great because they couldn't sleep for 2 days.
I love it.
I love that you take delight in that. That's perfect.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate it, Ray. We'll talk again tomorrow, man.
Guys, y'all have a great day. Bye.
So do our parting shot here with St. James. Hey, St. James, how you doing?
I'm good, Joey.
Good.
We're 6 months away now from Christmas. Oh, Lord.
Yeah. It's nuts. This year's flown by.
It is.
I know. Listen, I know the program is about to end for today, but Joey, I have my, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my pen and paper out, Joey, for Clark. And if there's any source material you can refer me to see prove that the 2020 election was stolen, I'd be happy to jot it down, Joey.
Okay, well, I'll tell Clark to call back in and give you his citation.
Please do. Please do.
Well,
thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, St. James. Thanks, man. 272-9228 is the number if you want to call Greg Budell.
That's right.
The happy hour's coming up, and we're done. This has been a show.
It's been a good run. It's been a good day.
It's been a good show.
I feel like we had some pearls of wisdom that fell from other people's mouths besides ourselves.
So not only thank God for a beautiful day, but thank you for a beautiful show, God.
I'm so glad to be here today.
This month is not anything to do with your freaky deaky pride. This month is for about the Sacred Heart of Jesus, and he's a little sad that y'all are continuing to.
And today is today? The feast of Saint Justus the Martyr,
or Justin Martyr.
Justin Martyr, and he was
great apologist in the early church. Yeah, against the Romans,
refuted the
Romans,
the Greek thinkers, and he said, "Yeah, I love it when he said they offered him every chance to get off the. Nope, we're standing our ground." So
anyway, y'all stay tuned. Happy hour's next.
From the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With that direct news, I'm John Scott. The United States has bombed radar and drone sites in Iran. That's after Tehran shot down an American drone over the weekend. Iran then said it targeted American soldiers in Kuwait with missiles, which the U.S. says it shot down. Meanwhile, Iran maintaining its chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz.